Douluo Dalu summoning the Holy Spirit Sect. From the beginning, this video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51 Soul Tower. Chapter 51 Soul Tower. Hearing this, Nian'an raised his eyebrows. After waiting for so long, someone finally gave him something indecent. Bring it up and let me see it. Rumble. As soon as the voice fell, the sound of the iron cart turning suddenly rang out. Not long after, an iron cage covered with black cloth was pushed up. Looking at the curiosity in Nian'an's eyes, Dais's tight heart suddenly loosened. As long as Nian'an didn't even want to see him and didn't even want to take his things, there would be room for a treat. Now Daze has also seen the situation on the mainland clearly. The two empires were basically destroyed by Nian'an, and now perhaps only the Ming Empire can still mobilize 1 million elite troops. The other two empires may not be able to restore half of their previous military strength in at least 20 years. Therefore, Daze naturally knows who to please now. Expand. Crash. As Daze finished speaking, the black cloth covering the iron cage was suddenly pulled open. Meow. Instantly, a shrill cat cry rang out. Nian'an frowned slightly. In the iron cage was a group of cat women. That's right, cat women with cat ears and cat tails, a total of 9. Your Majesty, these are the best and top 9 in their tribe, guaranteed to be original and wild, exquisite packaging, unopened. Tap tap tap. Nian'an walked forward slowly. Open the iron door so that your Majesty can see more clearly. Childlike face, fair skin, thin and well-proportioned. Among women, she is indeed a top-notch one. Nian'an nodded, quite curious. He didn't expect that this thing was available in Douluo continent. It seemed a little forgotten that Nine Fengs had also auctioned this kind of thing at the Tianxing auction. As he thought, Nian'an couldn't help but stretch out his hand, trying to grab the pink patches of one of the catwomen with long pink hair, the closest to him. Your Majesty, be careful. Puff. Daze reminded loudly, but unfortunately he didn't stop her in the end. A catwoman with long black hair, with a fierce look on her face and eyes full of arrogance, quickly grabbed Nian'an's right hand. 3 scratches appeared instantly. Blood dripped. Nian'an frowned. Plop. Just by Nian'an's frowning action, Daze beside him was instantly startled. He knelt down quickly. Your Majesty, 1 minute, 2 minutes, Nian'an waved his hand. It's okay, I like it. Azi, take them down and teach them court etiquette. Next to the dragon throne, a palace made in purple walked forward slowly. Daze looked up, and the next second a file flew over quickly. Sign it and get out of my sight. Daze lowered his head. The 3 huge words United Nations came into view, and next to them was the 6-word Daze Kingdom. Join the United Nations. Your Majesty, then my NATO. Nian'an stood up. Yours. Everything I release, even the whole world, will only belong to me alone. Tianxing represented the residents. Hurry up, get out of here when you're done. Hiss. Gently putting down the perfect silk bare feet in front of him, Nian'an stretched out his hand and pinched the owner of the face that was looking at him with disgust. I'd just like to see you angry. You don't want your identity to be exposed, do you? You don't want all your efforts to fail, do you? Also, next time, you have to come when I invite you, otherwise your father, the Snow Knight, will not invite you to the Ming Empire next time, but, click click. Tianxing clenched her fists tightly together. You are threatening me. Nian'an pulled up his pants. Isn't it obvious? Bang. Hearing Nian'an's words, as well as his frivolous eyes and disdainful words, Tianxing couldn't hold back any longer. Especially, the other party touched her after pulling up her pants. This was simply an insult to her. She was just like the kind of person who could let others go to hell. Raising her hand, Tianxing condensed her golden holy sword in her hand, and Nian'an narrowed his eyes. The dragon body trembled, and a long sword with dragon patterns condensed in front of her instantly. Dang! The holy sword was chopped off, and Tianxing's face changed. How could this be possible? She was born with super full-level soul power. Although she rarely practiced soul power because she had to hide, she had the soul power of a soul master at least at the 40th level. How could she not even be able to take the opponent's casual slash? Tread. Nian'an took a step down, and a blood-red soul ring slowly floated out of his body. Tap, tap, tap. 3 steps down, and 3 more blood-red soul rings appeared on his body. 4 blood-red 100,000-year soul rings. How is this possible? Although Tianxing saw Nian'an being sacrificed at the military parade and had a 100,000-year soul ring on his body. But he never thought that Nian'an's soul ring configuration would be so amazing. Moreover, and the other party is only 6 years old, how could he reach the 40th level of Soul Master, which is even more outrageous than himself? He also has super full soul power. Before Tianxing could figure out why, she was pushed down. Woo. After a long period of punishment, Nian'an stood up refreshed and threw down the United Nations contract. Let Zhu Yi sign it. After saying that, Nian'an turned and left. In the Mingwan Palace. Your Majesty, the leader of the 7 treasure-glazed sect wants to see you. Your Majesty, the elders of the Spirit Hall want to see you. Just after returning to his own hall, rounds of requests for meetings rang out. The reason why the Spirit Hall wanted to see him was nothing more than curiosity about the 100,000-year Spirit Ring and why there were so many Spirit Masters. Nian'an decisively refused. No. After waiting for so long, he finally hit some free time, and it was time to collect the rewards for the main task. Nian'an hoped that he could get something useful, at least something that could solve his own problems. For example, in the half-month since he came back, Nian'an asked the Holy Spirit to awaken people's spirits. Select those with strong talents to go to the Stardew Great Forest to hunt for spirit rings. This is too slow, and Nian'an wants the entire army and the people to awaken their spirits and become spirit masters in the future. Maybe there are millions of 100-year spirit beasts, but what about 1,000-year spirit beasts, 10,000-year spirit beasts, and 100,000-year spirit beasts? Passing over the towering palace made beside him, Nian'an quickly clicked on the system's main task. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the main quest, the First Empire. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining Million-Year Soul Ring, Adaptive, Million-Year Soul Bone of your choice, Douluo World of Rampant 1, Heart of the World, the Eternal Power of Douluo's Operation, Super Artifact Soul Spirit Tower. With 9 sub-towers. Damn, a critical hit. Nian'an stood up from his seat in an instant. Lizzie raised his hand and sniffed it. Is this the power of the nanny? P.S. The author may have to skip the plot later. By skipping, of course, he will not miss the key plot. Maybe some people don't like to read the current plot. Brothers, give some advice. Brothers, give some advice. In the future, I may have to write around the protagonist. After all, the protagonist's empire is already invincible. Chapter 52 Mende Hall. Chapter 52 Mende Hall. It exploded. It finally exploded. Looking at the golden objects on the system panel, Nian'an's eyes lit up. Without any hesitation, he directly clicked on the items displayed in the system panel. Super Artifact Soul Tower. After the operation of high-level energy, it can quickly cultivate high-level souls with the help of Soul Medium. Looking at the introduction of the Soul Tower, Nian'an stopped thinking for 2.5 minutes. It requires high-level energy and the help of Soul Medium. In other words, normal absorption of souls and obtaining souls requires specific conditions. Nian'an's excitement was instantly suppressed. Nian'an didn't know what this high-level energy was. What was this Soul Medium? If he didn't have this high-level energy, the Soul Tower couldn't operate, so why would he be happy and excited? Thinking of this, Nian'an didn't hesitate at all and instantly extracted the main tower of the Soul Tower. The center of the Ming Empire, next to the Ming Palace. A huge, magnificent, and imposing tower that was out of tune with the surrounding buildings instantly condensed. At the moment the tower condensed, a blue beam of light illuminated the world. The center of the Soul Tower. Nian'an stood in front of the huge main control console. Opposite the console were densely packed glass test tubes, numbering in the hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands. There was a thick special liquid in the center of the test tube. But there was nothing inside. Please activate the Soul Tower. In front of the main control console, a sentence quietly floated, how to activate the Soul Tower. Nian'an was puzzled. Ding, Douluo World of Rampant 1 was detected, which is the heart of the world, contains high-level energy, and can activate the Soul Tower. Looking at the prompt that popped up on the system panel, Nian'an breathed a sigh of relief. It's good that he has this high-level energy, and it's a reward from the system. It seems that the system is not unreasonable. Activate. The moment Nian'an's voice just fell, a golden light flashed, and the item called the World of Fragment disappeared in the system space. But the next moment, the entire Soul Tower lit up. The tens of millions of glass test tubes in front of him were instantly filled with nutrient solution. 001, welcome home, Master. Not long after, a holographic projection of a woman appeared next to Nian'an. The other party had long light blue hair, wearing a mechanical leather jacket, with a protruding front and a curved back, and her feet were suspended in the air. Master, please give 001 your orders. After hearing 001's words, Nian'an was stunned. Is this something that can be ordered? Shaking off the messy thoughts in his mind, Nian'an spoke. Create a soul. Ding, please put in the soul medium. Looking at 001 in front of him, Nian'an's heart skipped a beat. Sure enough, the bad thing he imagined finally happened. Soul medium. What a fast soul medium he has. Thinking of soul medium, the first thing Nian'an thought of was soul rings. After all, the soul of a soul beast after death will condense into a soul ring, which is something that every soul master on the entire continent knows. However, if the soul ring is the necessary item for making a soul spirit, why would Nian'an go to so much trouble to make this soul spirit? You know, there are only a few soul beasts on the entire continent. How many people can hunt them? If each soul ring can only make one soul spirit, then Nian'an's desire for the awakening of martial spirits and the soul masters of the whole people is simply wishful thinking. System, don't mess with me, I'm quitting now. Can I quit and lose half of it? Give me the Douluo World of Fragments, I don't want to play anymore. Ding, the Douluo World of Fragments are eternal items, they will not fall, and there will be no loss as long as the world is not destroyed. The host can quit at any time. After hearing what the system said, Nian'an was silent. The Soul Tower, in front of him was the Soul Tower that he had been thinking about. With it, his own Ming Empire can embark on a true empire of soul masters for all the people. Nian'an raised his head unwillingly. 01, what is a soul medium? Soul medium. A soul carrier, taken from various parts of one's own body. After hearing what 01 said, Nian'an breathed a sigh of relief. As long as it has carried a soul, or has had contact with a soul, it will be fine. Nian'an was shocked. It turned out to be just this. Otherwise, Nian'an would have thought that a soul ring was needed to condense a real soul. Isn't this teasing yourself without giving smoke? Now it's all right. Looking at the densely packed glass test tubes in front of him, Nian'an had a hint of expectation in his heart. Let's set a goal first, to store all the souls recorded on the continent. Douluo calendar, the end of July 2625. The moment of historic update and iteration for Douluo technology has arrived. The Ming Empire showed the Soul Tower and the results of artificial soul rings to the whole continent. You only need to spend 100 gold soul coins, and you don't have to go to the soul hunting forest or even the Stardew Great Forest to find 10-year soul beasts and hunt them to obtain 10-year soul rings. Because the new artificial 10-year soul ring has been opened to the whole continent, if you have a little money, plus a little more, 1,000 gold soul coins, you can also get a 100-year soul ring. 1,000 years, starting at 10,000, 10,000 years starting at 100,000, so expensive, will anyone buy it? You know, the value of gold soul coins is very high now. But Nian'an can only say. People who want it are flocking to it. Nian'an is not trying to make money from the poor, and he doesn't lack these melons and 2 dates. At the same time, new regulations were promulgated in the Ming Empire. Gold soul coins are rewarded for having children, and the great snow dragon riders can get government subsidies and normal money subsidies for becoming soul masters after a certain period of time, and military marriages. In short, the city is giving money. In a month, the Ming Empire minting, because the influence of the warring state period has all dissipated, the per capita GDP has risen wildly. In addition to the external investment policy, cities outside the Ming city were quickly built. Inside the Ming palace, Nian'an frowned as he watched the straight line increase in consumption. No, even if we give money to this group of people, it's too slow. Especially the population. Nian'an wants to develop the economy, doesn't he want to develop the population quickly? Now that the great snow dragon riders are almost deployed, the loss of the young manpower of the Ming Empire can be made up. But this seems not enough. Nian'an narrowed his eyes and had to turn his attention to other countries. Galeeks, how much money can the common people make? If you want to make money, you have to make a lot. 2626. The first anniversary of the establishment of the Ming Empire. Nian'an decisively established Minda Hall and the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy. At the same time, he began to recruit students from all countries on the continent. Soul Masters, does the Ming dynasty lack them? No. Does Nian'an lack money? Because of the Xingluo Empire and the Tianzhou Empire, there is no shortage for the time being. But it is better to be prepared. The Ming Empire lacks people, and it still lacks people from the Ming dynasty. Chapter 53 Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy. Chapter 53 Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy. On the first anniversary of the Ming dynasty, Nian'an also invited people from various countries to come. For no other reason, this time it was specifically to show the changes in the Ming Empire over the past year. The original retro buildings were all demolished, and now the Ming city is full of high-rise buildings and prosperous courtyards. The streets are all special bricks, and it can be said that the value of every inch of land is at least 10 gold soul coins. At the same time, due to the implementation of various policies, and the Ming dynasty subsidizing gold soul coins almost every month, the purchasing power of civilians in the Ming Empire has officially surpassed the two empires. The number of registered marriages has soared by 500% compared with the previous year. Children are not so outrageous, they are born quickly. At the first anniversary celebration, all kinds of weapons developed by Minda Hall were seen, and the eyes of employees from various countries glowed. They drooled, especially the Wihun Hall. You know, if this were in other countries, people who use so many soul guides might not be found. But it's different for the Wihun Hall. The Wihun Hall is not short of soul masters. The celebration is over. As soon as Nian'an returned to the Ming Emperor's palace, a pink-haired, cat-eared girl with cute and lively ears came up to him. Your Majesty, Nian'an stretched out his hand and pressed down the ears that were moving impatiently. Don't move, open your mouth, hurry. Meow. Hey, Black Veil, have you forgotten everything I taught you? The ambitious black-haired, cat-eared girl saw her people being bullied by Nian'an, and angrily scolded her. She was about to attack Nian'an, but the next second, a female official in purple appeared. When she saw the purple-clothed female official, anger, disdain, and even rebelliousness flashed in the eyes of the black-haired, cat-eared girl, and finally she was forced to hide it. Xingluo Empire, Your Majesty, the case of the Great God Lake, has a clue. Swish. On the tiger skin chair, the Emperor of Xingluo Empire Daiyoshan suddenly opened his eyes. Calculating the time, it's time for the results to come out, otherwise, I might as well raise a bunch of dogs instead of you. Thinking of this, a fierce light flashed in Daiyoshan's eyes. After so long, is he finally going to get the result? More than half a year ago, an accident occurred in the Great God Lake, which led to the Ming army surrounding Xingluo City. He was defeated without any resistance, which is the pain of the life of Daiyoshan, the Emperor of the Xingluo Empire. In particular, the disappearance of the 700,000 elite soldiers in the Great God Lake defense line. It led to the current disintegration of the Xingluo Empire. According to the secret report, half a year ago, Tianxing City launched a thing called Peacemaker, a little girl. That night, it was as bright as day, but it was actually its explosion. Its explosion destroyed the entire Great God Lake defense line and left a strong pollution. This is a special soul guide that the Ming Empire spent a lot of manpower and material resources to build at the time, a lot of chatter, in short, Daiyoshan understood. This is the trick of the Ming Empire, or it is a thing called a soul guide. Now the Ming Empire has established the Minda Hall, and has also established the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Guidance Instrument Academy, recruiting students from all over the continent. Ha 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 ha. God help me, I didn't expect that after obtaining such a weapon of mass destruction, the Ming Empire would not only keep it for study, but also spread it. What are the conditions for admission? Looking at the crazy Emperor of the Xingluo Empire, the guard lowered his head. 10 million to open an international identity, Minda Hall famous teacher guidance, 1 person, tuition fee is 1 million gold soul coins per year, the total course is 2.5 years, the total tuition fee is 250, guaranteed to learn. After hearing the guard's words, Daiyoshan's mouth twitched, but in the end he still gritted his teeth. This thing must be introduced to the Xingluo Empire, otherwise he or his future descendants will not be able to avenge the Ming dynasty. Ask Weiss and the little girl from the Zhu family to come over. Guaranteed to learn, as long as you learn this, an investment of tens of millions of gold soul coins is not unacceptable. If Nian'an heard what Daiyoshan said, he would definitely say with a smile. I promise to teach you, Laodi. A first-level soul guide is also a soul guide. Tianzhou Empire. What? 10 million to open an international identity, and the tuition fee is 1 million gold soul coins per person per year. Why doesn't he just go and rob? Emperor Zhuyi looked haggard. With the huge debt of the Ming dynasty weighing on his head, he was very sensitive to gold soul coins. But when he thought about the power of soul guides he had seen in the Seven Treasures glazed sect, he couldn't help but hesitate. From the enrollment to now, how many countries have participated? The participating countries are Xingluo Empire. Zhuyi frowned instantly when he heard the name of the first country. It became more and more outrageous in the end. Damnato, when they surrendered to Tianzhou, they all said they had no money. Now they are all giving up, right? Also, why can the Unluo Principality come up with so much money? After hearing Zhuyi's words, the envoy bowed slightly. Your Majesty, the campus loan he used is campus loan. The gift crap is definitely Nian'an's work. Yes, this is indeed Nian'an's work. He wants to bring small countries along, even if he doesn't charge them money in secret. In this way, if others learn and you don't, you fall behind, then you are waiting to be beaten. Nian'an directly forced involution and let all countries get on the last train of soul guides. No, then my Tianzhou Empire will also take campus loans. Zhuyi thought about it. Others have learned, so I can't not learn. And according to rumors, the powerful explosion of the Xingluo Empire and the final curtain of the Warring States period seem to have the presence of soul guides. That's right, this news was also released by Nian'an. If you don't drop some heavyweight bombs, how can others take the bait? He is full of bad intentions. After hearing what Emperor Zhuyi said, the envoy was embarrassed. That, Your Majesty, I have already asked His Majesty Deming, and His Majesty Deming has also given a clear answer. Because the Tianzhou Empire owes too much money to the Deming Empire, so, not enough credit, tick-tock. A month later, in Nian'an's palace. Your Majesty, the enrollment application form for the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy. Nian'an took a quick look. All the countries with names on the continent participated, and even the principalities were no exception. However, there were still some who did not participate. It was because the Xingluo Empire signed a defeat treaty and voluntarily gave up its colonies, kingdoms, and the independent kingdom of Xiaoyao did not participate. Among them, some did not participate, and some participated with others sharing the same country name. For example, the Seven Treasures glazed sect of the Tianzhou Empire. Of course there are, you have to pay 10 million to learn, Spirit Hall. Set up the United Nations address as soon as possible. After hearing Nian'an's words, the Jinhui retreated. Yes, Your Majesty. Chapter 54. First Level Soul Instructor. Chapter 54. Level 1 Soul Instructor. Pluto Calendar, February 15th. The address of the United Nations was determined to be in Lijiao, Deming Empire, Gilai Kingdom. In fact, if the location is selected with the original intention of the United Nations to establish peace, the center of the continent should be the first choice. After all, it can cover the entire continent. However, the center of the continent is not in the Xingluo Empire, Tianzhou Empire, or the Ming Empire, among the three empires. Instead, it is the Xingdou Great Forest. Even if the Xingdou Great Forest is removed, it is not in any of the three empires. Instead, it is in the Bara Kingdom and the center of the three United Nations junctions in Western Europe. And he obviously does not have the conditions to ensure the safety of the United Nations. Another point is that not far from this point is the territory of the Spirit Hall. Therefore, after a period of internal voting, the address of the United Nations was finally settled in Lijiao, Deming Empire. In this way, the Xingluo Empire, the Tianzhou Empire, and the Western United Nations can be slightly more acceptable. Among them, the Tianzhou Empire and the Hargunday's Kingdom are not far from the United Nations. The Xingluo Empire has to take a detour. But it is better than building the United Nations at the border of small countries, letting them develop their economy and then targeting themselves. On the day when the United Nations introduced envoys from various countries, the international class of Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy officially began. Envoys from various countries brought the people selected by their countries to learn soul guides. After experiencing the United Nations in Lijiao, the capital of the Ming Empire, they were escorted to the newly built Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy on the edge of Minqing, the capital of the Ming Empire, which is magnificent and every inch of land is valuable. As soon as I entered the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy, 3 huge statues slowly came into view. Hello, trainees, my name is Zemo, I'm a 7th level senior soul instructor of Minda Hall. I used to be one of the main gunners in the Soul Instructor Corps. In the next 2.5 years, please tolerate each other. After the first batch of international exchange trainees of the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy arrived, a young man with long black ink-colored hair slowly walked out. He took the lead in introducing himself, and the moment he opened his mouth, he instantly attracted everyone's attention. 7th level? They knew a little about Soul Masters, but what did this 7th level Soul Master mean? Before they could figure it out, Zemo pointed to the 3 statues in the Sun Moon Royal Soul Master Academy. First of all, I want to introduce you to the 3 statues in front of you. The one in the middle, the one at the head, is the founder of my Sun Moon Royal Soul Master Academy, and the man who ended the Warring States period and opened a new chapter for the continent, the first empire of the Ming Dynasty, Nian'an. Swish. When the 3 words Nian'an came out, many people trembled. Being able to be in the first batch of studying abroad in the Ming Empire and learning about soul guides, this group of people has an extraordinary status. For example, in the 2 empires, the people who came from the Xingluo Empire were the current eldest Prince Davis and Zhu Xun, the daughter of Prime Minister Zhu from the Queen's mother's family. The people who came from the Tianxing Empire was Yu Qinghe, who had just been appointed as the new crown prince, and a girl from the Holy Sect. The one who came from the Tianxing Kingdom was Prince Hagen, and the people who came from other kingdoms and even principalities were all prince-level figures. Only the people from the Spirit Hall are special. Of course, they are not special, but there is no record of these 2 people in the information database of the Ming Dynasty. Hiss. I know the Soul Master who controls the guide. I also know the Royal Family, which represents the highest power academy of the Ming Dynasty. But I don't know what the 2 words Sun and Moon in the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Master Academy mean. Prince Hagen gazed. Hagen held his chin with one hand, his eyes flashing with wisdom, thinking slightly. After hearing what Prince Hagen said, Zemo smiled. Pointing to the 2 huge stone statues behind Nian'an. The sun and the moon represent the heaven and the earth. They are also the 2 most obvious characteristic spirits of the royal family of my Ming Empire. The sun, and the moon. After hearing what Zemo said, Prince Hagen-Daze's pupils shrank. You mean, the sun and the moon are the symbolic spirits of the imperial family of the Ming Empire, which means, His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Empire has twin spirits. Prince Hagen-Daze thought of the previous rumors that a spirit beast sacrificed a spirit ring to Nian'an, which was as bright as day, as if 2 suns were shining, and finally a moon flew out from behind Nian'an. He was stunned, and the more he thought about it, the more likely it was. After hearing what Prince Hagen-Daze said, Davis, the eldest prince of the Xingluo Empire, felt a jolt in his heart. Twin spirits. Originally, it was thought that the Emperor of the Ming Empire had a spirit ring of 100,000 years, which was outrageous enough, but what was even more outrageous was that the other party was a twin spirit. Thinking of this, Davis's face twitched, and he couldn't help but feel bitter. He couldn't help but feel a lot of pressure. Before coming to the Ming Empire, Douluo Dalu had found Davis, and the father and son talked for a long time. In his father's mouth, Davis heard unwillingness, and he also heard that Douluo Dalu wanted to turn things around in his generation. Let him cultivate his soul guide device, and when the Xingluo Empire develops his own little boy, all the shame of the Xingluo Empire now can be repaid by the Ming Empire 100-fold. Now, Davis just stepped into the gate of the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy and heard the bad news that Nian'an was a twin martial soul. Inside the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy. Your Majesty, the people have been arranged. On a luxurious workbench, Nian'an stared at the soul guide core in his hand. In his hand, a golden carving knife advanced, and the metal wire of the soul guide core in his hand fell quickly. But, with the finishing touch of the last carving knife, the soul guide core in his hand was instantly lit. With the continuous injection of soul power, the soul guide core became brighter and brighter. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the cultivation line of the Universal Emperor, the 9th level soul guide line, the 1st level soul guide line, successfully carved the 1st level soul guide core, reward, the 1st level advanced soul guide carving technique. As the cold reminder sounded in his mind. In Nian'an's mind, all kinds of carving techniques instantly appeared in his mind. But he stopped at the carving of the 1st level soul guide. You can start now, no need to wait for me. After saying that, Nian'an raised the carved 1st level soul guide core in his hand. After hearing Nian'an's words, Zemo withdrew. Nian'an continued to work hard, making molds, carving soul line dot arrays, runes, array edges, because the array eye was carved on the soul guide core. Nian'an had all the steps from production to completion, and the next step was assembly. Not long after, a special white storage ring was created. Nian'an directly engraved his own mark. Congratulations, Your Majesty, congratulations, Your Majesty. It only took 1 day to successfully create a first-level soul guide and become a glorious first-level soul guide. Ding! Congratulations to the host, for becoming a glorious soul guide. As an emperor, you must have an emperor's start, and the reward is a self-selected gift pack of the famous list engraving knife X1. Chapter 55 The Worship Hall takes action. Chapter 55 The Worship Hall takes action. Hearing the flattery of the 7th level soul guide of Minda Hall, Nian'an couldn't help but blush slightly. What the hell, can a first level soul guide also brag? He said with some uncertainty. So, is it rare for a soul guide to complete the manufacturing of a first level soul guide in 1 day, from learning to carving, assembling, to become a first level soul guide? After hearing Nian'an's words, the 7th level soul guide of Minda Hall showed an envious look. Your Majesty, have you underestimated your own talent? Soul guide, among soul masters, at least 1 in 100 can become a soul guide. And among these 100 people, if someone can successfully make a first level soul guide in 3 months, then he is a genius. Not to mention, Your Majesty, it only took you 1 day to learn and make it. With your talent, you're enough to stand proudly in the entire soul guide world. Hearing this, Nian'an touched his chin a little embarrassedly. Nian'an still had a rough idea of what he was like. Although he was a little clever and only looked at 1 diagram from learning to making, and made the simplest and easiest storage ring, it shouldn't be so outrageous. Could it be the special bonus of the National Destiny Beast? Not only does it have a 100% bonus on soul power training, but it also has a 100% bonus on practicing soul guides. Thinking of this, Nian'an suddenly had an inexplicable thought in his heart. If that's the case, then isn't he a real genius? Sun Moon Royal Soul Guide Academy, International Class. Remember, I will only explain the following knowledge once. There are many categories of soul guides, but they are collectively referred to as 2 categories by soul guides. One is auxiliary and the other is attack. Among them, the attack category is divided into close range and long range attacks. The main production of soul guides is divided into 3 categories: soul guide core, carrier, hardware, and rune. Among them, the soul guide core represents the level of your soul guide, the carrier represents the quality of your soul guide, and the rune represents the performance of your soul guide and the strength of the attack damage. The following is an explanation of how the soul guide operates and how it works. Nian'an, who was about to leave the Sun Moon Royal Soul Guide Academy, came to the international class for a glance. He found that many students in the class were thinking hard with their heads down. Damn, are you kidding me? This simple soul guide needs so many parts to operate. It's more complicated than understanding soul masters and soul beasts. It's fine to learn so much knowledge, but in the end you have to practice it. Are you kidding me? No, brothers, go and take a look at the rune categories. Oh no, my brain is about to split, and I feel dizzy and want to vomit. Looking at the messy class, Nian'an smiled. Sure enough, it was just as I thought. It seems that there is still a 100% training speed blessing. But, I didn't expect that the Tianxing Empire and the Xingluo Empire were actually them. Nian'an left with a smile. Night. The residence of the Tianxing representative. Xiaoyao was practicing hard with the knowledge about soul guides. This was knowledge she had never learned before. The various steps of soul guide assembly, combination, and the final soul power operation attack deeply shocked her. With Xiaoyao's family, of course they knew about soul guides. In short, Dai has soul guides, but they're ancient things and rarely passed down. But for the top family on this continent, the Xian family, it is definitely nothing. However, the scene of Zemo flattening a small mountain at the soul guide test site today changed her mind. If this thing, every high-level soul master in the Spirit Hall has one, whether it is an auxiliary system or even a soul master without attack ability, can have such lethality, then does the Spirit Hall need to change the prince by itself and endure for so long? She did not hesitate and sent a letter back to the Spirit Hall, wanting the people of the Worship Hall to come and discuss the purchase of soul guides with the Ming Empire. Dong dong dong. Your Highness, His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty requests an audience. Kaka. In an instant, Xiaoyao clenched her fists tightly together. Originally, she did not want to come to the Ming Empire this time, but she still could not resist the persuasion of Zhu Yi and her teacher Nian'an. P.S. After Tianxing Kingdom became the crown prince with Zhu Qinghe's face, the 7 treasures glazed sect went into the water. 9 Fengs. As a businessman, try to avoid all risks. Don't invest before becoming the crown prince. In addition, on the surface, her martial soul is really just an auxiliary type of martial soul. There is no way she can only come here. But the thing that worries her the most still happened. Coming to the Ming Empire, it is inevitable to have some dealings with Nian'an. With the other party's dissolute temperament, he must have tormented me a lot. Although he didn't succeed every time, but the other party's appearance of enjoying it is really disgusting. The palace of the Ming Empire. As soon as she walked into Nian'an's hall, Tianxing Kingdom's brows were slightly frowned. A scent instantly enveloped the tip of her nose. This scent is very special, more from body fragrance. Is there a woman? This was Tianxing Kingdom's first thought. Meow. In the hall, Nian'an casually suppressed the irritable Xiaoyao. Woman, you are stirring up trouble. Ahem, your majesty, according to your order, the Heaven-Do Empire's crown prince Zhu Qinghe is here. Zhu Fu coughed, signaling Nian'an to pay attention to his image. Nian'an didn't care at all, and grabbed the cat's tail. Meow. Suddenly, a series of trembling sounds rang out. Zhu Qinghe lowered his head, his eyes were cold. Take your people away, I have something to do. I will deal with you, a little wild cat, after I am done. Nian'an let go of Xiaoyao, and Xiaoyao ran out in a flash. Soon, the whole hall, even Zhu Fu, was out. Only Nian'an and Tianxing Kingdom, who was wearing Zhu Qinghe's face, were left. Take it off, routine work. After hearing Nian'an's words, Tianxing Kingdom was stunned, and when she reacted, her eyes were red. The desire to kill was almost undisguised. How dare you? In Nian'an's body, a soul power infinitely close to the 50-level Soul King instantly surged out. How could this be possible? In just half a year, Nian'an is about to break through to the Soul King. Seeing the other party's disdainful eyes, Nian'an pushed the other party to the ground and reached out to grab the golden knee pads on his calves. I like it when you can't kill me, and you can't do anything to me. The transaction is going on shamefully. Spirit Hall, in the Worship Hall. Soul guides have deeply threatened the status of the Spirit Hall. Qianj and Jiang, you two go to the Ming Empire and see if there is any opportunity for cooperation. After hearing the order, 2 tall figures in the Worship Hall slowly walked out. Yes, great worshipper. After everyone dispersed, an old man on the main seat gently stroked the font on the letter. For that Qian family, for the Spirit Hall, thank you for your hard work. Chapter 56. The Ming Dynasty capital is ahead, demons are forbidden to enter. P.S. Time is running out, brothers, allow the author to post first and correct the typos later. Refresh after 10 minutes. If this prompt has gone, it means that the author's typos have been corrected. Chapter 56. The imperial capital of the Ming Dynasty is ahead, demons are forbidden to travel. After the order was issued in the Wuhan City, Worship Hall, in the Wuhan City located in the center of the continent, 2 rays of light, one red and one blue, instantly shot out like 2 sharp arrows. They went straight into the heart of the Xingdou Great Forest, and then went straight north, rushing towards the direction of the Ming Empire. The border between the Tianxing Kingdom and the Ming Lizhao, Longxing City, whoosh. As the 2 rays of light flew past quickly, a strong alarm sounded over the entire Longxing City in an instant. Beep beep. Intruder. Beep beep beep. Intruders flying in the sky, please stop immediately, show your clearance documents, and prove your identity. Otherwise we will attack as invaders. The 2 rays of light still showed no sign of stopping. In the city. 4 level 7 heavy city cannons on the 4 city walls in the southeast, northwest, and northeast moved instantly. Zzz. Before the second reminder, the 4 cannons fired instantly, and the violent roar directly frightened the bird flying in the air, causing its heart to stop suddenly, and it fell to the ground and died. A trifling trick. In the red light, a figure sneered, and a red light flashed on his body, and a black soul ring floated out of his body. Suddenly, a large shield condensed. Bang! Bang bang! The demon subduing Douluo blocked the attacks of the 4 level 7 soul guides with his hands, but his brows frowned. Although he resisted the attack, his 10,000-year defensive soul skill was completely written off. But, how is this possible? He is a level 95 Super Douluo. Even if it is a defensive spirit skill, it cannot be easily broken. It is worthy at the Ming Empire that can suppress the 2 empires, make the 2 empires surrender, countless kingdoms fear, and the principalities pay tribute. The current level of technology has actually reached this point. If the other party continues to develop like this, it will definitely be a sharp thorn that my wooden hall cannot avoid and remove. Beside the red light, a deep male voice came out from the blue light. Brother, what should we do now? Pressure. After a long time, two words slowly came out from the blue light. The royal family of the Ming Empire, as long as they still want to live and want to gain a foothold on the mainland, they must cooperate with the Wooden Hall and bow to the Wooden Hall. In Longsing City, the Nian'an watched the level 7 spirit guide cannon and the city defensor cannon have no effect on the two people, and they became anxious in an instant. Even the level 7 soul guide cannons have no effect on them. They are probably high-level soul masters. Their direction, damn my imperial capital. Looking at the direction the two people flew, the Nian'an's back was instantly wet. Hurry up and ask the adults of the Holy Spirit Church to stop the invaders before they break into the imperial capital. A secret report was instantly sent to the Holy Spirit Church. From the minions that the Holy Spirit Church had just recruited, to the leaders, to the messengers, and finally directly alarmed the deacons. Among the 24 deacons, 10 were directly dispatched. And they successfully sniped and blocked the Homi Mountains 50 kilometers away from the imperial capital of the Ming Empire, Mingqing. In the quiet mountains, 10 people stood like pine trees. But at this moment, waves of trembling ripples suddenly came from the air. Take action, absolutely don't let them enter Mingqing. Swish. Yellow, purple, blab, 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 8 soul rings of 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black shined. But evil spirits are shrouding us. Light of the dead. In the mountains, a great battle was about to break out. Being suddenly attacked, the demon subduing Douluo was instantly pulled from the air to the ground. Little brother. Seeing his brother's accident, Tianxing Kingdom, as the elder brother, did not hesitate at all and decisively activated his martial soul body. 7th soul skill, weapon soul body. Bang. The pressure from the higher level super Douluo above the title Douluo crushed them. In the battle in the mountains, after the two super Douluos came to their senses, although there were fewer people, the crushing from the 2 levels of cultivation instantly gave them an absolute advantage. Although the 10 deacons of the Holy Spirit Church had the advantage of the development of soul masters 10,000 years later, the development of soul masters at the time was not comprehensive enough, and they would only condense the first soul core after the title. Therefore, the current 10 deacons did not have the blessing of soul cores. Facing the suppression of the title level, oh no, it should be 1 level higher than the title level, the suppression of the super Douluo level, they were quickly defeated. One of the deacons saw the soul ring configuration of the demon subduing Douluo and the 1000-tier Douluo, as well as the terrifying soul power fluctuations coming from their bodies, and he couldn't help but feel a chill. Damn, these two are not simple. Retreat, ask the elders and the son to come out. The moment the deacon's voice just fell, the people at the scene instantly disappeared into the mountains and disappeared without a trace. If it weren't for the scene of the collapse of the mountains and the 2 strong men with 9 soul rings of yellow, purple, blab, black and black on their bodies cursing in the center, it would really make people doubt whether this was an earthquake, rather than a fight between others. Little brother, stop chasing. This group of people is well trained and closely united. Every time I want to chase and kill, someone will stop me. And the speed at which this group of people retrieves shows that they are very familiar with the Ming Empire. If I remember correctly, this should be the Soul Master organization of the Ming Empire, but I didn't expect that the Ming Empire would develop so fast. If it weren't for a Super Douluo coming today, but only those guys from the Spirit Hall, they would really succeed. After hearing what his elder brother said, Douluo's face was gloomy. This time he almost capsized in the gutter. It was simply his own shame. Damn it, this matter, I will never be done. After a messy fight, the 2 brothers Tianxing set out on their journey again. When they were close to Mingqing, they were blocked again. This time, not only were there the 10 deacons who had just fought and were injured and ran away, but also an old man in heavy armor and a woman in black gauze, revealing a beautiful figure. Everyone, in front of the Ming Imperial City, demons are forbidden to enter. The old man in heavy armor walked out slowly, with yellow, purple, blab, 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 and blab, 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 black soul rings flashing wildly. Inside the Sun Moon Imperial Soul Instructor Academy. Quick, look, I heard that there will be a fight outside our campus. 9th level Soul Instructor, Ming Lado will personally take action. We want to see the Emperor of Deming. Yellow, purple, blab, 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 also 2 yellow, 2 purple, 5 blab, 9 soul rings, and the momentum and pressure on Jiangmo and Tianxing Kingdom are much higher than Minlei. If it weren't for the fact that in 10,000 years, in order to become a title, it is possible that Minlei, whose soul power is only level 91, would be embarrassed on the spot when facing the pressure of 2 super Douluos. Dimming Imperial Palace. Your Majesty, 2 big rats are here. Hearing this, Nian'an, who was handling government affairs, slowly raised his head and saw Xiaoyao, who was expressionless. Go and have a look. Chapter 57 Little Bug. After hearing what Xiaoyao said, Nian'an instantly became interested. You know, the 2 titles beside Qianring Xiu, Snakespear Luo and Thorny Porpoise Luo, were just 2 little mice in Xiaoyao's eyes. Who could these 2 big mice be now? Could it be that the Sword Luo Chenxin and Bone Luo Girong of the 7 treasures glazed tile sector here? And they all want to harm themselves. You know, under normal circumstances, Xiaoyao would not come out to interfere with Nian'an's private life. Unless, now Nian'an has been threatened. At this time, the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy has become completely lively. In addition to the international class specially created by Nian'an, the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy also has children with unique talents for soul guides in the Ming Empire. The gradual strength of the Ming Empire has given these children inner strength. Facing the high-level soul masters who were out of reach at other times, the teachers in the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy now basically start with 7 rings. Minlei, the Dean of the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy, who was a 9th level soul instructor and a titled Luo, was also fortunate to have seen it several times. But the battles of titled Luo and 9th level soul instructors instantly broadened their horizons. Not to mention the people of the Ming Empire who were born and raised there. Even the sons, princes, and princes in the international class next door, how much have they seen of the world? Among them, except for Qianring Xiu, who was secretly in the Tiando Empire's Crown Prince Zhuking head, whose identity is extremely special, who else can come into contact with titled Luo every day? Level 9 Soul Master, Jiuan, is this the headmaster of the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Masters? He looks so handsome when he fights in armor. Let's fight. Damn, he basically doesn't need to fight head-on, he can shake the world with a casual blow, and completely suppress the titled Luo at the same level. So, the soul guide we are learning is so promising. The princes and emperors were all stunned when they saw Minlei holding a level 9 soul guide cannon and unilaterally suppressing the demon subduing Luo. In the case of the same level, the top-grade martial spirit must be powerful, but if the soul master holds a level 9 soul guide, it will be different. In this regard, it is basically 40% to 60%. Level 9 Soul Master 6. This 6 is because the demon subduing Luo has a soul power 4 levels higher than Minlei and has the Super Luo. But the cultivation of the Super Luo is much inferior to the soul core that every titled Luo will have 10,000 years later. Therefore, the result of the battle between Jiangmo Luo and Minlei came to a terrifying 46 to 47. Jiangmo was suppressed by Minlei Luo's level 9 soul guide throughout the battle. After gaining a superiority, Jiangmo stood on the ground and was bombarded again and again, indifferently and ruthlessly. Crack! Crack! The earth cracked inch by inch. Damn, the true body of the soul of the weapon. But a dark 10,000-year soul ring flashed from Jiangmo Luo's body, and the Panlong stick in his hand quickly enlarged. 8th soul skill, Jiangmo Panlong Circle. In the sky, the red soul power surged, instantly dyeing half of the world red, a huge hole instantly cracked, and a domineering dragon head appeared. Cannon of Destruction. A 10,000-year soul ring floated from Minlei's body, and then a beam of light instantly pierced through the blood-red dragon summoned by Jiangmo Luo. Little brother. Damn it. Seeing that his brother was about to lose, Qianxing Luo could no longer sit still. Blue-silver strangling. At the moment when Qianxing made his move, the blue-silver saints of the Holy Spirit Church also made a move. What followed was still, a brutal one-sided crushing. If it is said that Minlei Luo needs to use a soul guide to defeat Jiangmo Luo, then Tanya does not need it at all. It must be admitted that the Panlong stick is a powerful martial spirit, but compared with the dark blue-silver grass with devouring bloodliner, it is still much inferior. In particular, as a level 95 Super Luo, Tanya's soul rings are all over 10,000 years old, and there are 2 terrifying 100,000-year soul rings. Big brother. Compared with Jiangmo Luo's situation of being crushed all the time, Qianxing Luo's situation after the move was even worse. It was a real one-sided crushing, the kind that couldn't even release attack soul skills. Seeing the 9 terrifying soul rings that appeared when Tangya released her martial spirit, Jiangmen and Qianji and Luo were instantly shocked. Blab, 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 red, 7 black and 2 red. How is this possible? It's not like they haven't seen horrible spirit ring configurations before. For example, the first great worshipper in the worship hall has a horrible spirit ring configuration of 8 black and 1 red. They know a little bit about such horrible spirit ring configurations, where they come from, and why they're so horrible. For this reason, they have been practicing in the Elder Hall and the Worship Hall, and rarely come out, just to become such a strong man. But this is very difficult. But how could this girl in front of them be possible? How could you be possible? The heads of the demon subduing Luo and the 1,000-tiered Luo above in. When they reacted, they were ecstatic. There was only one result that could explain it, that is, the Ming Empire also has a god's residence inheritance. And as long as they defeat the one in front of them, they can replace him and become a strong man like Qianji Liu, or even surpass him and become the true successor of the god's residence. Brother, success or failure depends on this one move. Jiangmo Luo fought hard, repelled Minlei Luo, and quickly flew towards his elder brother. Hearing his younger brother's words, and seeing the terrifying spirit ring configuration on Tangya, Qianji and Luo gritted his teeth. Come on, it's time to let the world see the power of our 2 brothers. Qianji and Jiangmo joined forces, and the 2 Panlong sticks merged instantly. 1 red and 1 blue merged instantly. The next moment, the sky split open instantly, and a terrifying dragon appeared. This is, I remember. These are the 2 great worshippers of the Spirit Hall, Qianji and Jiangmo. It is said that there is a terrifying dragon hidden in the spirits of these 2 brothers. This dragon has terrifying lethality, and it must be peerless. In the international class of the Sun Moon Royal Spirit Instructor Academy, Prince Hagen Days was shocked and said in shock. Indeed, if the 2 brothers were alone, they might not be very strong among the Super Luo. But if the 2 of them join forces and use their martial soul fusion skills, they will be able to sweep and kill the Super Luo in 1 second. This is also why Qianji Liu asked them to come. If the 2 of them join forces, they will definitely be among the Super Luo. If they can't solve the problem, it's useless to send other priests over, so it's better not to send them. This is Blue Silver Guardian. Holy Spirit Guardian. The Blue Silver Saint of the Holy Spirit Church and the Elder of the Holy Spirit Church Minlei used their soul skills to block it at the first time. But the giant dragon in front of them instantly destroyed their defenses with a crushing force. Bang puff. The 2 fell to the ground and spit out blood in an instant. Win. Wahahaha. The 2 brothers Qianji and Jiangmo were overjoyed when they saw the 2 titled Luo lying on the ground and severely injured. Your Majesty, look, on the city wall, Nian'an waved his hand. Instantly, Long Xiaoyao made a move, and as a blood-red soul ring shone, the previously ferocious dragon instantly shattered. A little bug, how dare you do that? The Ming Empire is so outrageous. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 58 Sky High Compensation. Chapter 58 Sky High Compensation. How is this possible? The 2 brothers Qianji and Jiangmo watched their martial soul fusion skills being destroyed in the blink of an eye, and suddenly they felt a wave of intense pain and nausea in their bodies. Puchi. The blood in their mouths could no longer be suppressed, and they suddenly opened their mouths and began to vomit wildly. What kind of empire is the Ming dynasty? There are countless high-level soul masters, and the titled masters are more powerful than each other, and more outrageous than each other. Now there is a person who neither I nor my younger brother can see clearly. What kind of strength is this person? Is he the last guardian? There were many questions, but no one answered them. In the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy, International Class. Looking at the 2 worshippers Qianji and Jiangmo who were almost kneeling on the ground and vomiting blood wildly, Qianji clenched her fists tightly in an instant. Damn, what kind of strength is that person? Qianji was shocked, very shocked. She knew that there was a strong man besides Nian'an. She estimated that every time she met with Nian'an, every time she traded with him, every time, she was under the other party's vigilance. If she had any bad intentions, she might be lying there in an instant. This made her feel even more disgusted. Last time, the thorny porpoise and snake spear beside her didn't even get close to Nian'an, and they were directly taken down by the other two titles. Those two titles were so terrifying. How terrifying could the one who could stay by Nian'an and protect Nian'an be? But Yin. At this moment, the sky was bright, and a golden light suddenly emerged. In the clouds above the sky, a huge dragon was looming. Under the golden dragon, on the bright city, golden light shone. You have trespassed into the territory of the Ming dynasty, defied the laws of the Ming dynasty, and severely damaged the Ming dynasty's divine religion. Any of the three above can cost you your life. I will punish you for multiple crimes, and I will destroy all 9 of your clans. The breeze blew gently, and on the city wall, a thin man with golden light on his body stood up slightly. He had sword-like eyebrows and star-like eyes, and his long black hair stood up straight. He looked at the world with contempt, and every gesture and every word he said was full of great pressure. When Tianxing and Jiang heard this voice, they couldn't help but look up, and then their hearts fell to the bottom in an instant. Nian'an's contempt, demeanor, and the rumors that the Spirit Hall had repeatedly tried to negotiate with Nian'an privately and cooperate secretly were rejected one by one. This undoubtedly showed that Nian'an looked down on the Spirit Hall and disdained to cooperate with it. Tap tap tap. In front of the two brothers, Long Xiaoyao walked slowly with an indifferent expression. Behind him, on Mingqing, Nian'an's voice was still resounding. I hereby announce that the two are sentenced. After hearing Nian'an's words, in the Ming City, the people at the Spirit Hall who wanted to establish contact with Nian'an could not sit still. The two people Nian'an mentioned were 2 of the 7 great priests of their Spirit Hall. If they were really lost here, then, how great would the loss be? You know, there are not many titled Luo on the mainland now. Generally, titled Luo, like poisoned Luo, needs to be won over by the country. They can be called the elders of protecting the nation. Moreover, Tianxing Luo and Jiang Luo are not a little stronger than ordinary titled Luo. To be honest, if you want to cultivate a super Luo at this time, you need at least hundreds of millions of gold soul coins. Maybe hundreds of millions of gold soul coins are just your guarantee, and it is not certain whether you can find people with the qualifications to become super Luo. Your Majesty, the Empire of the Ming Dynasty, misunderstanding, all of this is a misunderstanding. Our Spirit Hall is willing to compensate for all the economic losses of the Ming Empire. Hearing this, Nian'an turned around and looked at the messenger wearing the Spirit Hall uniform behind him, under the Ming City. Compensation? Isn't this, as it should be? Seeing Nian'an's expression as if it was a matter of course, the elders of the Spirit Hall felt a chill. Yes, what the Empire of the Ming Dynasty said is right. Our Spirit Hall will definitely compensate for the losses caused to the Ming Empire. As long as, Your Majesty, the Empire of the Ming Dynasty, don't hurt. Before the other party could finish speaking, Nian'an interrupted directly. You know, the Holy Spirit Church is the protector of the Ming Empire, and every member is a beloved friend who protects the people of the Ming Empire. What's more, the people you heard hold special and important positions in the Holy Spirit Church. Now that you have injured them, how will the Holy Spirit Church operate in the future, and how will it solve problems for the Ming Empire? The staff of the Spirit Hall were terrified after hearing Nian'an's words. Your Majesty, the Empire of the Ming Dynasty, so? Hearing this, Nian'an looked at the other party seriously. You have to pay more. Nian'an spoke just before the heart of the Spirit Hall was about to jump to his throat. The solemn look on the faces of the Spirit Hall staff disappeared instantly. Instead, they were relaxed. Tianxing and Jiang Luo have special identities. If they can use money to exchange the lives of the two worshippers, it would be great. I wonder, how much money does His Majesty the Empire of the Ming Dynasty need? Looking at the other party's relaxed expression, Nian'an smiled. There was no hesitation when he spoke. 200 million gold soul coins. Hiss. Instantly, there were sounds of people sucking in cold air. 200 million gold soul coins, so much at the beginning. The number of 200 million almost made the envoy of the Spirit Hall suddenly stop his heart. Will His Majesty the Empire of the Great Ming Dynasty, of course, we don't think that our colleagues in the Great Ming Holy Spirit Church are not worth so much money. We just can't afford so much money for the time being. Not to mention for the time being, even if we had the next 10 years, we may not have so much money even if we sat the Spirit Hall directly. 20 million, how about 20 million? Nian'an didn't speak, and his face gradually darkened. From 200 million to 20 million, the other side really dared to ask, and directly cut 9/10. Is it to send away beggars? Your Majesty, the Crown Prince of the Tianxing Empire, Zhu Kinghead, wants to see you. Just when Zhu Nian'an wanted to refuse sternly, Zhu Fu suddenly came up and said with a strange face. Hearing this, Zhu Nian'an smiled. What do you want? As soon as he came, Xiu began to question. Xiaoyao, do you know these two people? I'm just teaching these two people who dared to disrespect my Ming dynasty a lesson. Why are you so anxious? Xiu had no expression on her face. I want you to let them go. Hearing this, Zhu Nian'an began to rub his hands. Xiaoyao, you're making it very difficult for me. Xiu frowned. What do you want? Hearing this, Zhu Nian'an's smile gradually became perverted. What I want depends on what you're going to do, Xiaoyao. I'm very angry now. Hearing this, Xiu gritted her teeth, her eyes full of hatred, but she slowly took off the hidden mask, and knelt in front of Zhu Nian'an with a trembling body. She expertly tied up her long golden hair. Just when Xiu was about to work as hard as before, as she was forced by Zhu Nian'an walked away. You're making it very difficult for me. Chapter 59 Dalu takes action. Chapter 59 Dalu makes a move. Just kidding, Zhu Nian'an is indeed greedy for her body. It's just that he can't eat it. He can just bite and touch it. Now the other party takes the initiative, which is indeed the first time. However, since the other party has taken the initiative, so Zhu Nian'an decisively refuses. For this kind of thing, men must grasp the initiative. If you want it, she has to give it to you, and if she doesn't want to give it, you have to take it. These are two different things. First, you have to feel comfortable yourself, and by the way, make her feel comfortable. Swish. In an instant, Xiu's eyes were red. You, what do you want? This sentence was almost squeezed out from Xiu's teeth. Bastard. Damn thing. What else does he want? I have taken the initiative, what else does he want? Why is he not satisfied? If I can kill, Xiu's eyes have killed Zhu Nian'an 800 times. Woman, don't look at me like that. Before, it was just a deal. Take your body in exchange for my happiness. Zhu Nian'an's cold words contained no emotion. And now, it's you who is begging me. Is that how you beg people? After saying that, Zhu Nian'an reached out and touched the long golden hair, pressing down slightly. Woo woo. The warm touch made Zhu Nian'an narrow her eyes. This is like collecting some interest. This matter is not over yet. After thinking for a while, Zhu Nian'an spoke again. 20 million is no problem, but the two of them have to guard the border of my domain for 10 years as a punishment. Let the people of the mainland see that even soul masters and titled Douluo must respect and abide by the law and domain. Woo woo. Xiu's eyes widened instantly, and she swallowed the saliva in her mouth frantically. Asshole, I want to fight you. Zhu Nian'an didn't respond and pulled away. Xiu fell to the ground with her whole body powerless, her face in disarray. She looked up. Xiu stared at the back of Zhu Nian'an as he left. Damn man. Thinking of Zhu Nian'an's violence, Xiu retched again. Thinking of everything he had done to her, she fell step by step, and finally developed into a disgusting relationship that made her disgusted. God, when will these days end? She felt ashamed of the Qian family's upbringing, ashamed of the angel god's blessing, and tarnished this pure and flawless angel bloodline. I will definitely kill that man with my own hands. Wash away the filth on my body, and remove all the humiliation on my body. I will definitely trample that man under my feet. Zhu Nian'an didn't care about Xiu's inner resentment. Because of her beauty, he was happy to have something happen with her. But that didn't mean he had to marry her. Of course, it didn't mean he would just play with her and not have her anymore. Behind a successful man, there are always some women. Ever since Xiu tried to assassinate him for the first time, Zhu Nian'an had a grudge in his heart. A woman who wants to kill him, if he can't even control his own woman, what's the point of coming here? To put it bluntly, if Zhu Nian'an hadn't coveted her body and thought she was pretty, maybe she would have been a cold corpse. The center of the continent, the spirit hall. Asshole. Damn it, who gave the order to the 5th and 6th priests? What are they doing in the Tianxing Empire? Assassinate the Emperor of the Ming dynasty. Is he crazy? Does he want to arouse the anger of the Ming Empire and drag the continent, which has finally calmed down, into disputes and turmoil again? I don't know if this is luck. Anyway, since the death of the former Pope Tianxing, Bai Dong secretly succeeded to the throne, overwhelmed the 3 upper sects, sent troops to the 4 lower sects, and broke up the first sect on the continent and their affiliated sects, the warring state period ended. The Spirit Hall has entered an era of rapid development in the past year. As long as it continues to develop honestly, unites with the Ming Empire, and obtains the grant and agency of the Soul Tower, the Spirit Hall will usher in a new peak. However, Bai Dong never thought that when she wanted to contact Nian'an and reach a cooperation to obtain the agency of the Soul Tower, the Worship Hall directly intervened and wanted to directly control the head of the Ming Empire. You said that if this thing succeeded, it would be fine. After all, as long as it really succeeded this time, the prestige and achievements of the Spirit Hall would undoubtedly become stronger. Unprecedented, even the 2 empires would have to stand aside. Unfortunately, the 2 worshippers of the Worship Hall not only failed, but were caught red-handed. Now the Spirit Hall is completely roasted on the fire. With Nian'an's temper, it is not impossible for the Ming Empire to launch a war against the entire continent again with the help of the Spirit Hall's provocation. After all, Zhu has a previous experience. Fortunately, Nian'an did not do so this time, but he also offered a price that made the Spirit Hall extremely painful. 20 million gold soul coins. It's not over yet. After paying the 20 million gold soul coins, the 2 great worshippers of the Worship Hall cannot return to the Spirit Hall. Instead, they have to guard the border of the Ming dynasty for 10 years. The development of the Spirit Hall has just entered the right track. Although 20 million is not much in the Spirit Hall, it is a lot in Bai Dong's hands. Moreover, after paying the money, Tianxing and Douluo cannot come back immediately. Therefore, Bai Dong must not eat this loss. Send this bill to the Worship Hall. Whoever makes the mess, he must make up for it himself. The Spirit Hall has just entered the right track and needs money for development. How much can he do if he takes 20 million gold soul coins from himself? 10 minutes later, the bill was sent to the Worship Hall. Assholes, how dare they? Brother, I will go this time, and I will definitely complete the task you gave me. In the Worship Hall, a strong man in golden armor strode out. We will go too. With the strength of a few of us, we can go even to the Sea God Island. On the main seat, a man with a noble appearance slowly opened his eyes, and his black hair flew in an instant. This time, I will go. I want to see what tricks this Ming Empire has. Swish swish swish. In an instant, everyone in the Worship Hall was stunned. Brother. Grand Worshipper. The man did not speak again, and a dazzling light suddenly lit up on his body. Then it shot straight into the sky and instantly turned into a ray of light and flew to the north. As one of the 3 top strongmen on the continent, Nian'an, the chief worshipper of the Wiccan Hall, is known as the strongest in the sky, and there is basically nothing to say about his speed. The extreme speed pulled him into an afterimage, like a meteorite flying over the Xingdou Great Forest, entering the territory of Damin, flying over Longxing City, and approaching the border of Daming City. Inside the palace, Xiaoyao's expression changed slightly. In fact, it had been several days since Xiaoyao defeated the 2 priests of the Spirit Hall. After all, it takes time for news to be transmitted. Your Majesty, a tricky person has come. In the palace, Nian'an, who was having a meal, frowned slightly. How does he compare to you? This time Xiaoyao did not guarantee it. The power of light on him is too dazzling. However, I can stop him outside Ming City. Thanks to Tao for the reading coin reward. Chapter 60 The Strongest in the Sky. Chapter 60 The Sky is the Strongest. Outside Mingqing, the originally cloudless sky was suddenly pierced by a golden light. The clouds dissipated, and a golden light slowly appeared in the sky. The golden light was extremely dazzling. Under the sun above the sky, it seemed as if a second sun was slowly forming. Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy, International Class. Xiu, who has a great interest in soul guides and is quite talented, has basically understood all the knowledge of first-level soul guides at this time. Just as she was about to start making it, a wave of strong and special feelings suddenly emerged in her heart. She suddenly felt a little dazed and uneasy. Until, under the sky outside Mingqing, a golden light shone. She looked up involuntarily. When she saw the golden light in the sky clearly and that familiar breath, her nose was sour. In the golden light above Mingqing, A man of about 13 to 40 years old, with a gorgeous and handsome face, wearing a gorgeous golden battle armor, was full of tenderness. At the end of her sight was the boy in the window with the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy, International Class. Her lips moved, and Qian Ringxiu instantly heard a voice that she was so familiar with. But before she could respond, a purple thunder appeared in the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy. In addition, on an isolated island next to Ming City, countless black vines suddenly moved. After a while, a woman in black gauze came slowly on high heels. Wherever the woman walked, the vitality of all plants was plundered. In the golden light, the man seemed to sense other breaths, and slowly withdrew his gentle gaze, and then looked towards the west with a serious look. No matter who you are, trespassing into my Ming dynasty is a serious crime. Dare to provoke at the foot of the imperial city, you have already been killed. The beautiful female voice slowly resounded outside Ming City, and after a while, a woman in black gauze slowly appeared. Next came the dark thunder of the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy. 2 titles. It's unlikely that you can solve Qianjin and Jianghan with your strength. A male voice came from the golden light, and a figure slowly appeared in the dazzling golden light. Bang! Boom! In the Mingqing Palace, a black beam of light suddenly shot straight into the sky and earth, dyeing half of the sky and earth black. What about me? Seeing that the powerful black soul power was about to dye the entire sky and earth black, plunging the world into darkness. In the golden light, the man frowned and could clearly feel the other party's disgust. He waved his hand. The golden light behind him became stronger and stronger, until it illuminated the sky and earth, forming a confrontation with the black clouds on the other side. This is fighting again. Good guy, it's worthy at the Ming Empire with its tough folk customs. In less than a month, the battles between titled lords are so frequent. In the international class, the princes, heirs, and princes of other countries were stunned. Good man, are the battles so frequent? Or are the titled Luo just used to guard the gate in the Ming Empire? Above the sky of the palace, a silver-haired old man floated quietly. The next second, he took a step and appeared outside the Ming City. Who are you? What are you doing? Do you know where this is? Looking at the person who questioned him, the man frowned deeply. How is this possible? He knew all the strong men on this continent. In his eyes, the juniors, Super Luo above level 95, were nothing. And the one in front of him, he had never seen him before. Not only that, when he sensed the other party's soul power, the abyss was like the sea, it was hazy. It can be said that he could not detect what level of opponent the other party was. There are generally only 2 explanations for this situation. 1. The other party is an opponent of the same level as himself. 2. The other party's strength has surpassed himself. But how is this possible? He has cultivated to the pinnacle of the continent, the level 99 Peerless Luo. P.S. The 99th level of Douyi is called Peerless Luo, and the 2nd level of Douluo is called the 99 level Extreme Luo. Even if he, like himself, cultivated to the 99th level of Peerless Luo, such an explanation is a little far-fetched. You know, the Wiccan Hall has registered all the titled Luos on the entire continent. Even if they are not registered, there is still a little information. There are only 3 Peerless Luos on the entire continent. As one of the 3, how could the invincible Qian Dalu not know how difficult it is to cultivate to the 99th level of Peerless Luo without the help of God? The elder of the Wiccan Hall's adjudicator and the chief worshipper of the worship hall, this trip is to take back 2 useless worshippers of my worship hall. Without any hesitation, Qian Dalu opened his mouth to explain his identity and position, as well as his final purpose. He did not directly say his identity and name. However, the elder of the Wiccan Hall's adjudicator and the chief worshipper of the worship hall, as long as it is a royal family of a country, as long as it is a family on the continent with a little bit of soul master background, will not forget it. 100 years ago, the 3 most famous masters of the continent, the strongest in the sky, almost occupied the glory of an era. They made countless talented soul masters behind them look like dust. Hiss. The elder of the spirit hall, the chief worshipper of the worship hall, how could he still be alive? In the international class, the moment Prince Hagen Days said this, a cold gaze instantly looked at him. It was no one else, but the crown prince of the Tianzhou Empire, Zhuking head, Qian Ringxiu in secret. It was the first time she heard someone curse her grandfather to death behind her back. If it was in the spirit hall, he would have been dragged out and chopped off long ago. Aha, not the crown prince of Tianzhou, what's the matter? Hargunnel was confused when he noticed the strange look of Zhu Qinghe, the crown prince of the Tianzhou Empire. It's okay, you continue talking. Zhu Qinghe retracted his gaze. In an instant, a group of people surrounded Hargunnel. Hargunnel was the oldest child in the international class and among the princes and sons. When others were in their early teens, he was almost an adult. He was a generation of leaders far ahead of others. As the oldest child, he was also the one who was exposed to the most state affairs in the Tianxing Kingdom. He had heard many secrets in the country. It is said that more than 100 years ago, 3 peerless geniuses appeared on the continent. These 3 were respectively called the strongest on the land, the strongest in the sky, and the strongest in the ocean. For this reason, countless geniuses were overshadowed by the brilliance of these 3. These 3 almost dominated the strongest era on the continent, and the one who is invincible in the sky is the Elder of the Judgment of the Spirit Hall. A man who achieved the title more than 100 years ago, it is hard to imagine how powerful his cultivation can be 100 years later. At this point, countless people in the international class were stunned, and then they were sweating profusely. Chapter 61 Nian'an Dalu vs Long Xiaoyao. Chapter 61 Nian'an Dalu vs Long Xiaoyao. Sweating profusely, just sweating profusely. What do you know? What am you about to see? The soul master who became a titled Douluo more than 100 years ago is still alive. I am afraid that when my fathers come, they will have to call him Grandpa. Thinking of this, everyone's eyes looked at the outside of Minqing with fiery eyes. Next, what they're about to witness is almost the top battle showdown on the continent. Who will win in the end? The reason why they knew that there would be a fight is nothing more than that they have figured out the style of the Ming Empire. The criminal law of the Ming dynasty is very overbearing. To solve the problem, you have to be submissive and admit your mistakes first. Do enough face-saving work first. Next, you just hand over your wallet. The wallet will make the Ming Empire friendly. Of course, there must be money in it. Release the people. Hectares, did I hear it wrong? Long Xiaoyao looked at the other party seriously. You disturbed the Emperor's carriage, entered the Ming Empire without permission, and challenged the imperial power. You come here without saying anything and want us to release people. Why, your wooden hall is more noble than my Ming. Long Xiaoyao's words are very profound. You know, the Ming Empire is undefeated in the battle against the 2 empires, and it has defeated the 2 empires. Who dares to be more noble than the Ming Empire in the entire continent? Even the Pope can only be on an equal footing with the Xingluo Empire and the Tianzhou Empire. And the heads of the 2 empires can only bow their heads and surrender in front of Nian'an. If you want to take your people back, okay, step on all these people and walk into Minqing. The war is inevitable. After it was clear that the Ming Empire would not release people under normal circumstances, Nian'an Dalu did not hesitate at all. Blab, 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 red. After a flash at the terrifying confederation of 8 blacks and 1 red, a golden sword appeared in Nian'an Dalu's hand. Let me dispel the sins on you. Holy light shines. Minqing, the highest point of the palace. Nian'an looked at the battlefield indifferently. The golden light shone, and wherever the golden light shone, there was no fire. The dark world reflected by Long Xiaoyao was instantly dispelled. The holy light of the angel was an absolute attribute suppression for Long Xiaoyao. Light restrains darkness, but, when the strength reaches a certain level, darkness also restrains light. The true body of the dark holy dragon. Yellow, purple, blab, blab, red, 2 yellow, 2 purple, 3 blab, and 2 red soul rings instantly appeared on Long Xiaoyao's body. A huge dragon with black scales, wings on its back, and 2 horns on its head suddenly appeared. Yin. Bang. The earth was broken, the mountains collapsed, and the river flowed backwards. Because Long Xiaoyao took the lead in opening his martial soul true body, Nian'an Dalu was forced to retrieve dozens of miles in the air, far away from Minqing. I can't see it, Nian'an frowned. It was a little difficult to see the excitement outside Minqing from inside the palace. Now, in order to prevent Minqing from suffering losses in the war, Long Xiaoyao directly pulled Nian'an Dalu dozens of kilometers away. Now it's good, I can't see it at all. This is not okay. It's a little dangerous to go out of Minqing to the front line. A gentleman does not stand under a dangerous city. And now the spirit hall is a little crazy. What if Nian'an just went there and Nian'an Dalu, who was beaten red-eyed, was killed in 1 soul skill? But Nian'an really wanted to see it, there was no way. You, go find Elder Mingli and tell him that I want to see the battle between the National Master and the so-called Spirit Hall Judgment Elder and the Great Worshipper of the Worship Hall. After hearing Zhu Nian'an's order, the West Factory immediately took the order and retreated. After a while, the sky above the entire Daming city was lit up with rays of light. After a while, mountains and rivers slowly appeared, followed by two people who kept fighting and changing positions in the air and on the ground. The figure flew very fast, and there was movement in almost every second and every frame. After a while, under the golden light behind Nian'an, a beautiful woman with 6 wings on her back slowly appeared. Angel Holy Sword. Yin. Long Xiaoyao caught the front swing of Nian'an's soul skill and pressed forward. The huge dragon head bit the angel's neck fiercely. Puff. The next moment, the chest of the black dragon was also pierced by the huge golden holy sword. Bang. Buzz. Nian'an widened his eyes in shock, feeling the soul power in his body rapidly draining away. Without the slightest hesitation, he used his soul skill to repel the black dragon with one blow. Buzz. Feeling the pain from his chest, Long Xiaoyao's eyes became brighter and brighter. The blood in his body flowed at a high speed, and his soul power was quickly mobilized. In his body, the 2 soul cores began to resonate rapidly at the same frequency, followed by a series of fights, until the last blow, the angel's true body was beaten to pieces. Sky-breaking claw. Bang. A golden light fell quickly, and a huge pit appeared instantly, with gold and sword energy raging around. In the huge pit, Nian'an's eyes were shocked, confused, to numbness. A golden soul power slowly lifted Nian'an up, and his injuries were quickly repaired. You shot me. You surpassed me back then. I would like to call you a demigod. To be honest, Nian'an was really shocked, very shocked. In the fight with Long Xiaoyao, he felt that all of Long Xiaoyao's power came from himself. In other words, he cultivated to this level by himself. A mortal, being able to achieve this step is enough for you to be proud of yourself. The next second, Nian'an said something inexplicable. Inside the palace, Zhu Nian'an narrowed his eyes and stared at the holographic projection. The battle between Long Xiaoyao and Nian'an, the thing that worried him the most, still happened. The 99-level extreme Douluo in the future 10,000 years has 2 soul cores, resonating at the same frequency, which means double that power. For the 99-level peerless Douluo at this time, it is indeed enough to easily crush and defeat. This is completely the benefit of the development of future soul masters 10,000 years later. However, this does not mean that the 99-level peerless Douluo was weak 10,000 years ago. Because, the 3 peerless Douluos who are alive now have a common ability, that is, to borrow the power of God. Angel Blessing. Nian'an's injuries recovered quickly, and a golden beam of light shot straight into the sky. In the center of the continent, Wuhan City, deep in the Wuhan Hall, in a mysterious hall. In the hall, there is a beautiful angel statue with 6 wings on its back. At this moment, the statue slowly emitted golden light, as if it came alive. In her hand, a golden holy sword suddenly turned into a golden light and disappeared. Flying into the sky with a golden light. Buzz. Boom. Angel, Judgment. In a flash, a divine sword appeared in Nian'an's hand, and an unprecedented sacred light emanated from his body. In the sky, a golden sword instantly condensed and fell heavily. This kind of power. Long Xiaoyao's pupils shrank. Zhu Nian'an narrowed his eyes. Are you going to lose? Instinctively looked at the last remaining 10,000 worlds character summoning card in the system space. Chapter 62 The Supreme Elder of the Holy Spirit Church. Chapter 62 The Supreme Elder of the Holy Spirit Religion. A roar. The huge angel's holy sword descended from the sky and fiercely stabbed at Long Xiaoyao. Long Xiaoyao's eyes widened, and the wings behind the dark holy dragon's true body fluttered wildly. The dark holy dragon's true body's muscles bulged, and a large amount of black soul power poured into its limbs. However, facing the strongest attack of the angel with thousands of streams, it only lasted less than 3 seconds. It quickly fell to the ground. Bang! The angel's holy sword, wrapped in powerful power, pressed Long Xiaoyao to the ground. The dark holy dragon's true body shattered into pieces. Long Xiaoyao, whose silver hair was flying and black robe was blown by the wind, was revealed. A full set of 6 soul bones. Buzz buzz buzz. As Long Xiaoyao gradually awakened the 6 soul bones in his body, a bone-shaped object appeared on his head, left arm, torso, left leg, and right leg. The colorful light was constantly flashing. Isotopic resonance dual soul core. Yellow, purple, black, and red. 9 soul rings were put on Long Xiaoyao's body, and the soul power in his body surged wildly. Seeing that his calf, which was about to bend at the knee, gradually straightened up. How is it possible? After relying on the power of the angel god and the angel holy sword, Dalu never thought that Long Xiaoyao could survive. This person can't stay any longer. Dalu narrowed his eyes fiercely. Without the help of the gods, the soul master system of the Ming Empire could be cultivated to this point, which deeply shocked Dalu. Of course, this is only one aspect. What he couldn't accept the most was that there was a lot of evil power in the system of the soul masters of the Ming Empire. In other words, this group of soul masters was likely to practice in an evil way. This is also one of the reasons why Dalu was so sensitive to the breath of the Holy Spirit Church when he uses the power of angels. The power of the Holy Angel. Dalu violently waved his hand, and on the huge Holy Angel sword in front of Long Xiaoyao, a huge, beautiful angel with a beautiful face, golden light all over the body, and 6 wings on its back slowly condensed. She slowly grasped the Holy Angel sword held by Long Xiaoyao with her 10 fingers. Buzz. Puff. Blue-silver control. Before the Holy Angel sword was about to pierce Long Xiaoyao's body, countless black vines gathered, extended, and tightly entangled the Holy Angel sword. Let me purify this ugly evil power, and bring peace to the world. As the voice fell, a pitch-black soul ring slowly appeared on Dalu's body again. Holy light shines. Buzz buzz buzz. The dark vines suddenly broke into pieces, burned by the strong holy light, and all the blue-silver grass turtles shrank back. In the distance, Tanya frowned and waved her hand. In an instant, a wall composed of countless blue-silver grass appeared, blocking the shining of the angel's holy light for her. Tanya avoided the shining of the angel's holy light, but Long Xiaoyao was miserable. After Dalu added strength again, all of Long Xiaoyao's previous advantages were disintegrated inch by inch. Then he let the angel's holy sword pierce into his body. Long Xiaoyao's body was severely injured in an instant. Seeing this scene, Dalu did not hesitate at all, and a blood-red light instantly lit up on his body. He was ready to take advantage of the opportunity to seriously injure Long Xiaoyao and directly finish off Long Xiaoyao. Just when the only 100,000-year soul ring on his body shone, moved, and entered the pre-swim stage of the soul skill. Countless people's hearts beat to their throats. You know, this is a battle between the top Douluo on the continent. Not to mention the battles between top Douluos, they may not have seen even the battles between ordinary title Douluos. And now, the battle between the top Douluos on the continent is unfolding in front of them, especially when someone has already had the intention to kill. It is very likely that one of the top title Douluos on the continent will fall here today. This will inevitably shock the Soul Master world on the continent. Inside the Demon Palace, Xufu's turbid eyes stared at the holographic projection above Demon City. Your Majesty, this won't go wrong, right? I think our protector of the nation elder seems to be a little, not good. Nian'an didn't even turn his head. He had made up his mind. System, use the 10,000 worlds character summoning card. In fact, Nian'an had already prepared himself mentally. Perhaps even the 10,000 worlds character summoning card might not be able to solve the crisis in front of him this time. After all, the 10,000 worlds character summoning card does not necessarily only summon powerful people. Before, Tanya and Ma Xiaotao were not among the peerless Luos at all. And there is the level 91 Dark Thunder, a thing that even dogs would shake their heads at. But there is no other way. Now that things have come to this, Nian'an can only gamble. Just gamble that this time he can summon someone to solve the problem in front of him. Otherwise, what else can he do? A 9-foot-tall man can bow his head and bend his waist. You can't risk your life for the sake of face, right? Faced with the questions he asked himself, Nian'an couldn't answer them in a short time. The humiliation under the crotch, the days of begging, the time of being a hostage, after all, he is too weak and not strong enough. Otherwise, he could solve this kind of thing himself. Nian'an's heart was instantly shrouded in a sense of urgency. At the age of 7, with a soul power close to level 50, it's not enough. Ding! Congratulations to the host for triggering the main task of the Emperor, the cultivation of the Emperor's invincibility. Before the age of 10, achieve a soul saint. Looking at the system prompt, Nian'an's head was confused. 2.5 years is enough. Before he could discuss with the system, the cold system prompt sounded in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for summoning the world, the Holy Spirit Church, the Grand Elder. The Grand Elder of the Holy Spirit Church must be a level 99 ultimate Douluo, or even a demigod or quasi-god. If the Douluo plane continues to push back, there are also those above level 100. Could it be? Above the battle center between Xiaoyao and Nian'an. But woo-woo. In an instant, the world changed drastically, and waves of ghosts and wolves howled and wailed. A huge black tower appeared out of thin air in the sky. The moment the tower appeared, countless black gases scattered, and the terrifying evil power instantly enveloped the surroundings. The light of death. But bang! A beam of light instantly shot out from the black tower, shooting into the air at high speed, and before the soul skill was swaying, it went towards Nian'an, who wanted to continue to finish off Xiaoyao. Bang! The light of death was very fast, and almost instantly penetrated the entire angel's true body, as well as Nian'an behind the angel's true body. Puff. Chapter 63 Bite by Dong. Chapter 63 Bite by Dong. Nian'an suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, and felt that his body was turbid, and the power of death was running wild. The soul power in his body was rapidly dissipating. In the end, he could only watch helplessly as the angel's true body disappeared in front of his eyes. The world became quiet. No one expected that when the battle was about to be decided, there would be a second top-level title joining the battlefield. Especially looking at the giant tower in the sky, the wailing of ghosts. Beside the Death God Tower, there was still a woman floating in the air. The woman had a fair face, and at first glance, she was in her early teens or early 20s, and she was so young that she was out of water. She had long black hair draped over her shoulders, and wore a purple dress inside, with delicate and beautiful features. Looking at the woman in the holographic projection, Nian'an's eyes lit up. A beauty who was one level higher than Xiaoyao and Tianxing. On the ground, Xiaoyao, who was severely injured by the angel's holy sword, stared blankly at the woman standing next to the Death God Tower in the sky. The woman paused slightly and glanced at him sideways. Time freezes. When the Jinniwea, the West Factory, and even the Holy Spirit Church arrived at the place where Nian'an fell, they found that there was only a big pit left at the scene, and the people in the pit had disappeared long ago. However, in the distance, they found a holy sword shrouded in holy light and with a unique shape. Half an hour later, the seriously injured Xiaoyao and the holy sword shrouded in holy light and with a unique shape appeared in front of Nian'an. Your Majesty, I have a favor to ask. Looking at the seriously injured Xiaoyao, who was still dripping with blood, Nian'an retracted his eyes indifferently. I can't help with this matter. If you want to see her, you have to rely on yourself. After hearing Nian'an's words, Xiaoyao fell silent. If she really wanted to see him, he wouldn't have to go find her. If he went to find her himself, she would have no choice but to not see him. Alas! With a long sigh, Xiaoyao disappeared in the space in front of Nian'an and went to heal his wounds. Looking at the holy sword shrouded in golden light in front of him, Nian'an's mouth curled up a smile. If we get this, then we won't lose out this time. Order the Snow Dragon Cavalry to assemble the army. Nian'an casually issued an order, and immediately within Minqing, 300,000 Snow Dragon Cavalry moved in an instant. The 300,000 Snow Dragon Cavalry had all undergone a spirit awakening, and nearly 100,000 of them had absorbed the first spirit ring. Their speed and combat power were incomparable to the past. In Minqing, the envoys of various countries saw the Snow Dragon Cavalry of the Ming Empire, and the 300,000 troops were in motion, and people were instantly panicked. They quickly reported the situation in the Ming Empire back to the country. Among them, undoubtedly, the people at the Spirit Hall in Minqing were the most panicked. The Spirit Hall had provoked the Ming Empire again and again, and the gold soul coins promised to the Ming Empire had not been delivered. They had some idea of who to fight. Report, the Spirit Hall envoy wants to see you. Report, the Spirit Hall elder wants to see you. Within half a day, the Spirit Hall changed from envoys to elders. In the Ming Emperor's palace, Nian'an said a word slowly. No. In early March, the United Nations held its first UN meeting. It was for no other reason than to test Nian'an's attitude. There was no other way. Nian'an's army was ready to go, but no news of who to fight was heard. Just hanging like this, the people of all countries were panicked, fearing that they would offend Nian'an if they did something wrong. Unfortunately, Nian'an, or the Ming envoys and diplomats, did not show up throughout the whole process. This UN meeting was not organized at all. Deep in the Wuhan Hall, in the Angel Hall. Cough cough cough, damn it, how could the Ming Empire, how could it be possible? Dalu's mouth slowly overflowed with black blood, his breath was weak, and the angel statue behind him emitted a faint light. At this time, the angel statue's hands were already empty, and what happened was self-evident. Dalu simply lost both his wife and his army this time. Can't just let it go like this. The holy sword must be taken back, and must be returned to my angel clan. The holy sword is the artifact of the angel god. Having lost such an important thing, Dalu really wanted to slap himself in the face. Thinking of the Ming Empire, Dalu couldn't help but think of his granddaughter. It seems that according to rumors, the Tianzhou Empire's Prince Zhu Qinghe and the Ming Empire's Zhu Nian'an have a good relationship. It is said that if Zhu Yi hadn't interfered, the Ming dynasty would still be a vassal state of the Tianzhou Empire. It was still the Prince Zhu Qinghe who won over. There is no other way. After knowing that the Ming Empire has many soul masters, and even two peerless Luo, it is obviously a bit wishful thinking to send people from the Spirit Hall to lurk and steal the angel sword. Only the dark chess can be used. The Pope's Palace. Bang la la. Damn old thing, it's not quiet at all. You can't even do a small thing. One day I will overthrow his worship hall. In the Pope's Palace. The new Pope Bai Dong was furious. Since she took the throne, the old guys in the worship hall have been against her openly or secretly because of their seniority. They have created trouble for her everywhere. She finally got the Spirit Hall back on track, but they have brought another big enemy to the Spirit Hall. The Ming Empire. The Ming Empire is the strongest empire on the Luo continent. After defeating two empires in succession, the status of the Ming Empire has reached an unprecedented high. It can easily bring out millions of soldiers. Even the soul masters are countless. According to the investigation of the Spirit Hall, the Ming dynasty has recently begun to implement the full name of the Spirit Awakening, and most people have soul power. In other words, they can become soul masters. When Bai Dong thought that in a few years, the Ming Empire will be full of soul masters and strong soldiers and horses, her scalp tingled. The only advantage of the Spirit Hall is that there are many soul masters, and the country dare not provoke them, for fear that the Spirit Hall will do something secretly. But the Ming Empire has many soul masters, and it has just defeated the strongest person in the Spirit Hall. It can be said that Bai Dong was put in the most passive moment. Under the current situation, the Spirit Hall must admit defeat. A good man does not suffer a loss in front of him, otherwise they may not even have a chance to surrender when the Ming army attacks. The Spirit Masters are not as strong as others, and the army is not as large as others. What can they use to fight against others? Your Excellency the Pope, we have been rejected again. His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming dynasty does not want to see the envoys of our Spirit Hall again. A feminine voice came from outside the hall, and then a group of people walked in. Bai Dong frowned. It seems that I have to go to the Ming Empire in person. Go, ask the worship hall for money 3 times, and say that I said it. He doesn't have to give it if he wants the Spirit Hall to be razed to the grounds. Next, the worship hall delegated all power, and Bai Dong took over the power on the grounds that the worship hall damaged the interests of the Spirit Hall. On February 3, a large amount of funds were used to purchase a seat in the United Nations. On the grounds of turmoil in the United Nations and peaceful development, the United Nations meeting was initiated again. Privately invite His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming dynasty to discuss the alliance. Your Majesty, the Spirit Hall Pope Bai Dong invites you to attend a meeting at the United Nations in 5 days. When Zhu Nian'an heard the news, she was stunned. After reacting, a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth. She is indeed an ambitious woman. It just so happens that after leaving the Spirit Hall alone for so long, it's time to knock on the bamboo pole. Chapter 64 The protagonist often appears last. Chapter 64 The protagonist often appears last. Li Zhao Center. The United Nations established its address. When you arrive at the gate of the United Nations, the first thing you see is the huge sun and moon flag, which is unique. It is also a flag standing in front of all the kingdom flags. Behind the unique flag of the Ming Empire is the Empire flag with Xingluo Tianzhou was the main one. Behind that 2 empires of the kingdom flags headed by Hagen Days, Silvers, and Tianxing Kingdom. Behind the many kingdoms, there are 2 more flags. One is the weakest among many countries, the Principality of Pearlage. The other is the Wigan Hall logo flag, which spent a lot of money to buy a seat in the United Nations not long ago. And this United Nations meeting was initiated by the Wigan Hall. Due to the power of the Wigan Hall, it has a great influence on the people of other countries on the mainland, and no country does not give the Wigan Hall his face. Other envoys and diplomats came to the United Nations conference room early. Is His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty not here yet? Because this meeting is open to the public. Therefore, not only the personnel of the United Nations of various countries can come to witness it, even ordinary people and soul masters can witness it. As soon as they heard that the new Pope of the Spirit Hall and many of the Spirit Hall's title holders would attend the meeting, the Spirit Masters also came to join in the fun. Bai Bai Dong was standing on the high-rise building of the Spirit Hall's United Nations residence at this time, staring at the entrance. The time to take the seat was approaching, but the seat of the United Nations Ming Empire was still empty. Just like the last United Nations meeting, the Ming Empire directly ignored the call of the United Nations. Half an hour before the time to take the seat, the envoy of the Heavenly Kingdom took the seat first. When the flag representing the Heavenly Kingdom was raised, the scene was instantly in an uproar. This is one of the few independent kingdoms under the jurisdiction of a province after the Warring States period. Yes, it used to be from Tianxing province of the Xingluo Empire. It is said that due to the wrong decision of the Xingluo Emperor, a large number of young men in Tianxing province were lost, and everyone was in danger. Old mothers cried day and night, which caused dissatisfaction among many people in Tianxing province during the Star Battlefield. The Emperor of the Xingluo Empire wanted to order Tianxing province to send people to fight against the Ming Dynasty again. In the end, he was resisted by officials from Tianxing province. Unexpectedly, the officials were brutally killed overnight. Just when the Xingluo Empire sent people to take over Tianxing province, I didn't expect it unexpectedly, a daughter of the Tianxing senior official survived. Then, with the support of the people of Tianxing province, she quickly took control of Tianxing province, followed the people's sentiments, and established the Tianxing Kingdom under the destiny. She is the only queen in the history of the continent. The leader of the Heavenly Kingdom was a woman in red clothes and gauze. She had red hair and her face was hidden under the gauze. Although her graceful body was covered by tight clothes, it showed her hot body. This person was none other than Ma Xiaoyao, who came from the Heavenly Kingdom after receiving Nian'an's order. The Queen of the Heavenly Kingdom. Next came the three kings of the Western United Nations. After learning that Nian'an was likely to attend this meeting, the three old men shrewdly turned down all the work in their hands and went directly to the United Nations. 3 minutes before the United Nations meeting began, the people at the Spirit Hall slowly walked onto the stage. The leader was a beautiful young lady wearing a crown, holding a scepter, wearing a silver white long dress, with a fair face, and a solemn and majestic appearance. I am the Pope of the Spirit Hall. These 6 simple words instantly quieted the scene. The United Nations conference room, forget it, since it is open this time, the conference room is held in the square. After everyone heard Bai Bai Dong's self-exposure, the scene instantly quieted down. He stared blankly at the beautiful young woman in the United Nations conference center. Crash. I don't know if there is a shill inside. Anyway, one of the soul masters knelt down inexplicably. Then, people passed it on to others and a large group of people knelt down. In fact, the status of the Spirit Hall in the hearts of civilian soul masters is incomparable to the two empires, that is, they give too many privileges. They awaken their spirits for free, and even help people hunt spirit rings when they have time, and even the subsidies for low-level soul masters after becoming spirit masters are all copied by them. Little do they know. The Awakening Hall in the village is funded by the country, and the Soul Beast Forest for hunting spirit rings is also maintained by the country. Even the subsidies for low-level soul masters behind the scenes are all given by the Empire to the Spirit Hall. Of course, this does not negate the achievements of the Spirit Hall. At least the free awakening of spirits covering the entire continent will not be available after 10,000 years. At the time, awakening spirits requires money. If you don't have money, then you can wait for your bloodline to awaken and your spirit to awaken independently. This is also the reason why Nian'an doesn't want to deal with the Spirit Hall. It is better for the Holy Spirit Church to suffer a little, be tired and busy, and awaken the spirits of their own forces. Otherwise, when a person awakens the spirit and has power, what will he do? How many spirit masters are willing to join the Spirit Hall? Meet His Holiness the Pope. Meet His Holiness the Pope. Meet His Holiness the Pope. Just look at the fanatical spirit masters and you will know. You know, this is Li Zhao, the territory of the Ming Empire. Although the people here did not belong to the Ming Empire before, after being conquered by the Ming Empire, they were also branded as belonging to the Ming Empire. Although many people came here because they heard that the Pope would attend this UN meeting. But this, doesn't it also represent the terrifying appeal of the Spirit Hall? The end of the warring state period is beneficial to the continent. The establishment of the United Nations has broken the barriers between countries. Today, on behalf of the Spirit Hall, I want to say to everyone on the continent, tap 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 tap. Before Bai Dong finished speaking, a series of heavy footsteps suddenly rang out. Tap tap tap. Buzz buzz buzz. A dazzling golden light suddenly appeared in the eastern sky. Then a circle of purple soul rings fell. His Majesty the Emperor of the Great Ming has arrived. The dazzling sun and moon flag. The huge carriage and sedan chair pulled by 9 dragon horses. The protagonist often appears last. The 3,000 dragon guards immediately isolated all the onlookers. Bai Dong looked at the 2 purple soul rings on the dragon guards besides Nian'an, and her pupils shrank fiercely. Sure enough, they really have mastered a way to make people become soul masters quickly. This is what Bai Dong fears the most and why she wants to cooperate with Nian'an and the Great Ming Empire behind him the most. Crash. The moment the carriage curtain was pulled open, Nian'an, wearing a dark black dragon-patterned robe and an imperial crown on his head, slowly appeared. When she saw Nian'an's young face, Bai Dong's pupils shrank again. Seeing Nian'an's arrival, the Empress of the Heavenly Kingdom slowly stood up. Greetings to His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty. Swish, swish, swish. Then came the Western Alliance, the United Nations, the 3 old men, the diplomatic envoys of the 2 empires, and the envoys of various kingdoms. What's the point of asking people without status to pay homage? Asking the people who really hold power on this continent to pay homage is awesome. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 65. Why do you think you can be on equal footing with me? Chapter 65. What makes you think you can be on equal footing with me? The moment Nian'an appeared, all the envoys of the countries at the UN seat, even the helmsman of the kingdom, had to bow and salute. Bai Dong knew it. Who has the highest status in the UN, and who is the one who has the final say in the UN? Bai Dong felt a burning pain on her face. What ability does it have to make ordinary spirit masters kneel down? They are just a group of grassroots. Those who are present as UN envoys are all powerful people in various countries. In front of Nian'an, they still have to respectfully call him His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty. Spirit Hall. What's wrong with the Spirit Hall? The Spirit Hall has a special status, but it has a lot of reputation and worship among the people of other countries, and has accumulated a large number of ordinary spirit masters. The Empire must also treat it with courtesy. But what's wrong with this? What does it count for in front of the Ming Empire? First, the Ming Empire does not need the Spirit Hall to awaken the spirit. Second, the Ming Empire does not need the Spirit Hall to lead the novice Spirit Masters, train the novice Spirit Masters, and then join the Ming Empire. Third, the Ming Empire not only has its own Spirit Master development system, but also started 10,000 years earlier. Therefore, the identities of the Spirit Hall and the Ming Empire are reversed. According to the investigation of the Spirit Hall, most people in the Ming Kingdom have the talent to become Spirit Masters, especially those with high-level talents and innate full spirit power. If the Spirit Hall wants to expand the business of the Ming Empire, it still needs the consent of the Ming Empire. Now all the people in the Spirit Hall have been expelled from the territory of the entire Ming Empire. This was inevitable at the moment when Nian'an was preparing for the second awakening of the national spirit. Standing at the front of the 9-dragon carriage, Nian'an's eyes instantly swept around. Those who were swept by Nian'an's eyes couldn't control their panic and knelt down one after another. Finally, Nian'an's eyes fell on the beautiful young woman at the center of the United Nations podium. Why don't you bow to me? Why don't you bow to me? Feeling Nian'an's eyes that didn't take her seriously at all, Bai Dong clenched her fists tightly. As the Pope of the Spirit Hall, she was equal to the Emperor, and now Nian'an asked her to bow to him. Bai Dong couldn't accept it. Looking around, she found that not only the envoys of various countries, but even the Queen of the Kingdom of Tianxing and the three kings of the Western Alliance and the United Nations bowed their heads respectfully. She thought she had a special status, but now there was no one standing next to her. With everyone's tacit consent, would the Pope of the Spirit Hall bow his head? Bai Dong opened her mouth, and the next moment, a man with a scar on his face and dressed in black raised his head. How dare you? Why don't you bow to the Pope? 9 soul rings, yellow, purple, blab, 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 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 5 blab, floated out. An extremely strong soul power pressure instantly pressed towards Nian'an. Bang! When the soul force pressure was still 3 meters away from Nian'an, it was instantly shattered by an invisible soul force. A eunuch ran over to Nian'an's feet, staring angrily at the title next to Bai Dong. How dare you? Are you trying to challenge the imperial power? Crash. In an instant, the dragon guard surrounding the entire United Nations moved. Crash. Nian'an glanced at the other party, expressionless. Why do all of you think that soul masters are superior to others, Shua? Nian'an looked up. I'm telling all of you now, no matter you are soul masters, ordinary people, soldiers, or even politicians, in my eyes, you are just one kind of people, inferior people. But the moment these words fell, the void around Nian'an slowly began to twist. I succeeded to the throne at the age of 6. On that day, I drowned 200,000 enemy troops, occupied Giladi, recovered lost territory, defeated Binlang, and repelled Tianxing. It was me. I faced the alliance of 2 empires and remained undefeated. I defeated Xingluo and Tianzhou, and made all nations come to pay homage to the great Ming dynasty. For thousands of years, from ancient times to the present, who else can do what I have done? Why do you think that you, as a soul master, can be on an equal footing with me? Why do you think that you can be on an equal footing with me? Nian'an's voice was so loud and deafening that countless people lowered their heads in shame. You should thank me for my kindness. After I destroyed your country, I didn't kill you and let you perish. Instead of disobeying me and challenging my imperial power. I'm not talking about one of you, I'm talking about all of you, you are losers. As long as I want, the Ming cavalry can step on your faces the next day. At this point, Nian'an's emotions calmed down slightly. You can complain, but don't let me hear it, otherwise, I will cut off your tongues. If you are not good, practice more. If you can't afford to lose, don't play. You can also be like me, the premise is to defeat the Ming dynasty, but you don't seem to have this opportunity. Taunting, naked taunting. The faces of the representatives of NATO, the United Nations, and even all countries were burning, and their eyes couldn't help but look at the representatives of the Spirit Hall at the United Nations Speech Center. There was a burst of complaints in his heart. The Emperor of the Ming dynasty has a childish temperament and loves face. What's wrong with you lowering your head? It's good now. You feel better after being scolded, pointed at in the face, and pointed at in the nose? There are even many people who think that what Nian'an said is not wrong. If you are not good, just practice more. If you can't afford to lose, just endure it. You can't beat them, but you are unwilling to admit defeat. You secretly make small moves and get caught, and then let everyone be scolded. It's really disgusting. To show my punishment to you, I want you to kneel down. Those who challenge the imperial power, slap in the face. In the center of the podium, Bai Dong widened her eyes. What the hell, kneeling? Bai Dong's operation successfully turned her from only bowing her head to kneeling. But how is this possible? She represents the Spirit Hall. She can kneel to the sky or the ground, but she can't kneel to the Emperor. Even admitting her mistakes is fine. Thinking of this, Bai Dong opened her mouth to say something. But before she could say anything, her head suddenly lowered, and a strong pressure descended. Plop. Plop. The sound of kneeling suddenly rang out. Snap. The next moment, a loud slap rang out at the scene, and the next second, a black figure with 9 soul rings under his feet flew out. Old ghost. A feminine voice rang out beside Bai Dong, and before he could check on the old ghost's injuries, the strong pressure instantly made him kneel on one knee. A show of strength. Nian'an wanted to see who was better at showing strength. The sound of kneeling suddenly rang out. Bai Dong's slender waist slightly bent, and her mind was spinning wildly. No matter what, she must not kneel to the Emperor of the Ming dynasty in public. Even if everyone kneeled. Greetings to His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming dynasty. Bai Dong bowed without hesitation. But the pressure still did not stop. Just when Bai Dong was about to give up, she spoke again. The Spirit Hall was wrong. This time, I am here on behalf of the Spirit Hall to express my most respectful apology to the Ming Imperial family. I am sincere enough. Sincerity. Chapter 66 Cooperation with Spirit Hall. Chapter 66 Cooperation of Spirit Hall. Sincerity. Nian'an raised his eyebrows when he heard this. In fact, he didn't really want this face. The moment Bai Dong admitted her mistake on behalf of Spirit Hall, it actually represented Nian'an's unique status. But Nian'an didn't speak at the first time. He was still quietly thinking about the pros and cons in his mind. If now, the backbone of all forces on the continent is broken with one stick, it will undoubtedly further consolidate the prestige of the Ming Empire. From now on, even if many people are unwilling to say it, there will be a fear in their hearts. Fear of the Ming dynasty. Whether it is between countries, even in the world of soul masters, in this man's eyes, it is just a piece of cake. But, this is not what Nian'an hopes for. If the Ming Empire really becomes a hegemonic force, in the future, more than 10 or 20 years later, will there be people who dare to provoke the Ming dynasty? Will the Spirit Hall still dare to establish the Spirit Empire? At the time, how can I send troops righteously, although Nian'an doesn't care about the so-called reputation? Do I need any reason to beat them? However, this will undoubtedly ruin the future plot. Nian'an knows all the plots, even the protagonists, how they will go in the future. But if it is disrupted, it will be bad. How can I control them? Thinking of this, Nian'an raised his hand slowly. Suddenly, the violent pressure began to slowly subside. Bai Dong slowly raised her head and watched the void beside Nian'an tremble, with a flash of shock in her eyes. Bai Dong's soul power now has just reached the level of 90 titled Douluo. She doesn't even have the strength of a level 95 super Douluo. Facing Long Xiaoyao's pressure, although she has the power to resist, it is not much. Sincerity. Nian'an sneered. Your Hall has repeatedly provoked my Ming dynasty. I want to see how sincere you can be. Her. After hearing Nian'an's words, Bai Dong breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that Nian'an is not a person who is stubborn. As long as the other party can listen to what he says, it will be easy. Tianxing and Jiang, and even the later Judgment Elders, all come from the Worship Hall. I have no right to order them. However, I would like to express my most respectful apologies to the Ming dynasty once again. Tianxing and Jiang's 20 million gold soul coins will be sent to the Ming Empire by my Wooden Hall without a cent less, and the two worshippers will also guard the Ming border for 10 years. Hearing this, Nian'an narrowed his eyes. It seemed that the Wooden Hall had given in. But, aren't these conditions supposed to be? Is 20 million your sincerity? Nian'an remained calm and slowly walked down from the 9-dragon carriage. 20 million was the previous price. Bai Dong's pupils narrowed instantly when she heard this. As expected, this Ming Empire is not a simple commodity. Thinking of this, Bai Dong generously threw away the hem of her skirt. Okay. My Spirit Hall is willing to pay 50 million gold soul coins to join forces with the Ming Empire Soul Spirit Tower to benefit the entire continent, awaken the spirit for free, obtain soul rings for free, let soul masters to be promoted for free, and create a new era of spirits. Is this immoral kidnapping of himself? Thinking of this, Nian'an couldn't help but feel a little funny. 50 million, this money, is a lot, too much, so much that it is not even enough to build an awakening room in my Soul Spirit Tower. Soul Spirit Tower and Soul Guidance Device are both cross-era products. The Spirit Hall wants to get a piece of the pie. Now there are people from the Spirit Hall to learn Soul Guidance Devices. Even if the Soul Spirit Tower has extremely strict review, let alone people from the Spirit Hall wanting to get in. Even people born and raised in the Ming Empire may not be able to get in. I won't hide it from you. I have the power to build a branch Soul Tower. I won't hide it from you. The soul rings in my Soul Tower will be sold easily. I have millions of soldiers in the Ming dynasty. The quality of the soul rings in the Soul Tower is far better than the soul hunting forest. The soul rings hunted in the Xingdou Great Forest are better and of higher quality. There are tens of thousands of soul beasts, and the best soul rings, you can choose at will. At this, Nian'an's mouth curled up a smile. But, why should I build a free one? Why should I let you enjoy this treatment? You are not my people of the Ming dynasty, and you are not beneficial to my Ming dynasty at all. Nian'an never considered himself a gentleman. Facing this group of people, he was too lazy to even do the superficial work. Nian'an took the seat on behalf of the Ming Empire. Next, it was the performance at the Spirit Hall. Bai Dong was the first to show her glorious side for the people, but after Nian'an made it clear that 50 million was not enough to let the other party participate in the operation of the Soul Tower, Bai Dong gave up the moral blackmail of Nian'an. This is why Bai Dong chose to hold an open meeting. Not only the people of Li Zhao were present, but also people from the Tianxing Empire, the Western Alliance, the United Nations, and other countries. Originally, she wanted to use the glorious side of the Spirit Hall among the people to force the Ming Empire to surrender. Directly force the Ming Empire to the side of justice and glory. After all, in the eyes of many heads of state, Nian'an did not kill those powerful officials after defeating the two empires. Isn't it just to whitewash himself? Whitewashed into the glorious side of justice. When there is moral restraint at the time, the Ming Empire will not be able to do many things. Who knows, Nian'an has no morality at all. Since he ordered the massacre of the entire Binlan territory, there is no whitewashing at all. All this is their self-righteousness. He didn't accept the moral kidnapping of the Spirit Hall at all. Awakening martial spirits for free across the continent, obtaining spirit rings for free, and leading out novice spirit masters. Whoever wants to do it can do it. What does it have to do with me? What's the benefit for me? Moreover, this time, the news that Nian'an accidentally revealed made the representatives of various countries feel a heavy stone in their hearts. The Ming Empire is preparing to awaken the martial spirits of the entire army, obtain spirit rings, and build a million-strong army of spirit masters. When I think about it, the army of the Ming Empire is so difficult to fight now. If the martial spirits are awakened, other countries dare not even think about it. Especially the two empires of Tianxing and Xiaoyao. When you are hoarding food, your next-door neighbor is frantically hoarding troops and guns. What does it mean? After the representatives of various countries spoke and voted, this United Nations meeting ended successfully. However, neither the Spirit Hall nor the countries got a good result. In the United Nations Min conference room. Report, Your Majesty, the Pope of the Spirit Hall wants to see you. Gently picking up the teacup in front of him, Nian'an was not surprised that Bai Dong would come to see him. Let her in. 4 faint word fell. Tap tap tap. After a while, the door suddenly sounded with a burst of high heels stepping on the ground. Wearing a platinum dress, tall figure, and long wine red hair tied behind her head, Bai Dong had a little fatigue between her brows. But after seeing Nian'an, the fatigue between her brows was swept away. I wonder, His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty, can you cooperate with my wooden hall once? Chapter 60-70 in Shua College. Chapter 60-70 in Shua College. Finally here. That's right, the reason why Nian'an didn't return to the Ming Empire at the first time was to wait for Bai Dong. The grievances between the Ming Empire and the Spirit Hall have not been resolved. At least the compensation has not been negotiated. Outside Ming City, 300,000 Snow Dragon riders are still practicing with real guns and bullets. Therefore, it was inevitable that Bai Dong would come to find him, without even a thought. Unless the Spirit Hall really wants to fight a war with the Ming Dynasty. Looking up. Nian'an looked up and down at Bai Dong for a long time. She has a graceful body and tender skin. The platinum robe on her body is a little like a white veil, showing her graceful body to the fullest. It must be said that the young woman's attractiveness is directly full. It is the maturity that Qian Ringxiu's budding and delicate body cannot compare. Cooperation? Compared to cooperation, I want to get the compensation that my Ming Dynasty deserves. 30 million. Nian'an decisively added 10 million on the original basis. Bai Dong's eyebrows jumped wildly when she heard the price quoted by Nian'an. But she finally suppressed her excitement. Deal. Hearing this, Nian'an slowly crossed his legs and stared at the beautiful young woman in front of him. Now you can talk about your cooperation. Hearing this, Bai Dong breathed a sigh of relief. The Ming Empire and the Spirit Hall jointly held the first all-continent Advanced Soul Master College competition after the Warring States period. Nian'an raised his eyebrows. In order to show the special nature of the competition, it will be held every 5 years, and all the colleges in the continent will compete for fighting spirits to determine the final winner. The venue for this competition is the Ming Empire. My Spirit Hall is willing to bear all the expenses of the competition and provide 2/3 of the prizes for the competition. And the Ming Empire only needs to call on colleges across the continent to participate. Tap tap tap. Looking at Bai Dong's back as she left, Nian'an slowly fell into deep thought. The all-continent Advanced Soul Master College competition is a good thing to make money and enhance prestige. But Nian'an was a little unhappy that the Spirit Hall would make a name for itself here and gain the greatest benefits. There was no way. The Spirit Master Academy of the Ming Empire was just in its infancy. It was simply not as good as other countries and the Spirit Hall, which had a deep understanding of the spirit. Nian'an didn't want to miss this event, but he didn't want to be a supporting role for the Spirit Hall. What should he do? Thinking about it, Nian'an's eyes fell into the system space. It's strange to say that since the last time he became the first empire on the continent, Nian'an's system rarely triggered the main task. It has always triggered the emperor's main task. Now, my rewards are rapidly decreasing. Alas, it seems that only war can make the country progress and the times change. But now it can't be fought in a short time. The development of the empire has fallen into a difficult problem again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for triggering the empire's main task, winning the first place in the empire battle, and the Spirit Master can't fall behind and win the championship of this all-continent Advanced Spirit Master Academy competition. Swish! Nian'an stood up from his seat in an instant. The main quest of the empire has been triggered again. But, this quest... Nian'an instantly became depressed. Wouldn't it be the same if this main quest was given to him or not? It also made him feel distressed. With the current Soul Master Academy of the Ming Empire, how could it possibly compare to the Soul Master Academy of other countries, and the Soul Master Academy of the Soul Hall? The more he thought about it, the more entangled he became. Just when Nian'an wanted to give up, he suddenly saw a bright light in the system space. In the center of the light, a line of word flickered quietly. First class full summoning card. Only in this world, looking at this card, Nian'an was confused. However, after reacting, he chose to use it without any hesitation. Ding! Congratulations to the host for using the first class full summoning card. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the first class force, Tianxing College. But... Nian'an was confused. Tianxing College, is it the women's college with many long-legged ladies? Tianxing College will arrive at the host empire within 3 days. On that day, the news of the Continental Advanced Soul Master College competition spread throughout the United Nations in an instant. The next day, Nian'an returned to his palace. At the same time, far away in the Sun Moon Royal Soul Master College, in the international class, on the workbench, Zhu Qinghe, also known as Tianxing Kingdom, completed her first level soul guide work. Although this is just an auxiliary soul guide, it has already opened a long gap with other people in the international class. Davis, who was also the son of the empire and the future of the Xingluo Empire, was sweating profusely. Thinking that Zhu Qinghe, the crown prince of the Tianzhou Empire, had successfully created a first-level soul guide, he, as the eldest prince of the empire, could not fall too far behind. Davis began his retreat early. Wise, we have been in the Ming Empire for so long, and we have never left the Sun Moon Royal Soul Master College. I heard that there will be a lantern festival by the Jiming Lake in the evening. Let's go and see it together. After a long time after the soft female voice fell, a slightly hoarse voice came from the door of the room. No, Zhu, I still want to take advantage of the time to learn more about soul guides and not let my father down. Zhu lowered his head in disappointment. At the same time, Tianxing Kingdom also received a handwritten letter from the chief worshipper of the worship hall. The holy sword was lost in the Ming dynasty. I hope Xue will know and find the holy sword. When she received this letter, Tianxing Kingdom widened her eyes, and her pupils were full of shock. Tianxing Kingdom saw her grandfather's defeat that day. If there hadn't been a second person to intervene and attack, her grandfather would not have lost. It was the Ming Empire that won unfairly and did not follow the moral code of martial arts. Her grandfather did not dodge. But Tianxing Kingdom never thought that the holy angel sword inherited in her family was actually lost in that fight. This is simply, I can't believe it. After reacting, Tianxing Kingdom was panicked. It goes without saying how important the holy angel sword is to the Qian family of the angel clan. He held the note tightly in his right hand, and soon the note in his hand spontaneously ignited without fire. In the palace, Nian'an had just returned to the Ming Emperor's palace when a Jinhua wearing a fur suit and holding an embroidered spring knife came up. Report, a day ago, we rescued a group of soul masters in the East China Sea. Your Majesty, they now want to settle in the Ming Empire. Hearing this, Nian'an instantly raised his head. This is, let them in. After a while, a group of women in aqua blue short skirts slowly walked into the hall. The leader of this group was a woman, not too old, about 35 years old. Behind her were all young girls. There were not many people in this group, about 20. Except for the woman in the lead, the others were young girls in their early 20s, wearing blue tight short skirts, with beautiful faces and hot bodies. President of Tianxing College, Xiaoyao greets His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty. I beg His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty to allow Tianxing College to settle in the East China Sea and establish a college. Hearing this, Nian'an smiled. P.S. Brothers, I have done everything you said about how to write next. Can I skip the plot now? I was sick again yesterday. I had a fever and couldn't sleep. Not only that, I also had a sore throat. Oh, I feel like there is no one left. Chapter 68 Qian Ringxiu's Deal. Chapter 68 Qian Ringxiu's Deal. The East China Sea is the closest direction to the sea in the Tianzhou Empire. The students accepted by Tianxing College are very special. They are all water-based and have beautiful girls. Although weapon spirits do not necessarily have to absorb weapon spirit beasts, plants, the attributes of the spirit cannot be changed. The attributes complement each other, so the spirit skills are naturally powerful. If they do not complement each other, they are naturally a little weaker, and even have spirit rejection reactions. Since the Tianzhou Empire and the Ming Empire went to war and signed a defeat treaty after the defeat, the East China Sea of the Tianzhou Empire, all the way to the extreme north in the north, have been ceded to the Ming Empire. Since the announcement that the northeast region belongs to the Ming Empire, roadblocks have been set up along the way for easy control. It is very difficult to sneak from the Tianzhou Empire to the Ming Empire without being discovered. But Tianxing College has no way. As long as there are students breaking through, they can't go to the Xingdou Great Forest to hunt spirit beasts for students to obtain spirit rings, right? Helplessly, after layers of selection, they traveled through mountains and rivers to the East China Sea. Just when they wanted to cross the sea to hunt soul beasts, they encountered a sea beast tide. They fled back to the east coast in a panic, but were discovered by the Jinhui. After this incident, Xiaoyao, the dean of Tianxing College, suddenly had an idea in his heart. That is to join the Ming Empire. The current Ming Empire is developing everywhere and gradually rising. The United Nations established in Liuzhou has cross-era technological soul guides and soul towers. As long as they join the Ming Empire and use the soul tower, Tianxing College will no longer need to send ice and water students in the college to the extreme north to go out to sea to hunt soul beasts. What's more, the current Ming Empire is not only a peak in the country, but also in the Soul Master world. I beg His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty to grant me permission. My Tianxing College will be loyal to the Ming Empire. Swish. At the moment when the dean of Tianxing College bowed, the beautiful young ladies of Tianxing College behind him bowed without hesitation. We will be loyal to the Ming Empire. We will be loyal to the Ming Empire. Nian'an narrowed his eyes when he saw this. In fact, he was not hesitating before, but thinking about the current situation of Tianxing College. If he did not use the first-class full summoning card, would the other party also join his Ming Empire? It's hard to say, but according to the international situation, it is estimated that it is. If the other party does not join the Ming Empire, then there are only two choices left for them. Go to the extreme north to hunt soul beasts, or cross thousands of kilometers to the west coast to hunt soul beasts. However, these two conditions obviously cannot meet the needs of all the students of Tianxing College, and they need to spend a lot of time, energy and money. If you calculate it this way, as long as Tianxing College is not crazy, it will choose the Ming Empire sooner or later. So, I lost a first-class full summoning card. Looking up, Nian'an looked at the group of beautiful women and girls in front of him. Okay, alright, looking at the looks of this group of people, I agree. Standing up, Nian'an slowly walked to the front of Xiaoyao, the dean of Tianxing College, and stretched out his hand. Congratulations on joining the Ming Empire. Shaking hands, it represented that Tianxing College officially joined the Ming Empire. Ding, Tianxing College's loyalty increased by 100%, all students' talents increased by 10%. Looking at the system prompt, Nian'an's mouth twitched. Good guy, I guess this is the only loyalty I get after using the first-class faction summoning card. Report. At this time, a man wearing the clothes of the Western factory slowly walked over with a long knife in one hand. Nian'an raised his eyes and glanced at the other party. Speak. After hearing Nian'an's permission, the people from the Western factory immediately reported. The Crown Prince of the Tianzhou Empire, Zhu Kinghead, wants to see you. Qian Ringxiu. Why is she looking for me now? Nian'an was puzzled. Sure. You know, the other party doesn't have many times and opportunities to look for me. Although Nian'an was unwilling to admit it, he did have a little bit of a sense of shame. Xiu must hate him now. Asking her to come to him, isn't this just forcing her to shit? Sure enough, after a while, Xiu walked in slowly with a face that looked like her parents had died. As soon as she walked in, she saw the faces of the people from Tianxing College beside her changed slightly. The first thought in her heart was that Nian'an was indeed a person who was only ruled by desire and only knew how to think about the lower body. At first, she was a palace maid, then she dressed as a man, and even later as a catchwoman. Now it's good, she is playing with many people directly. Female slaves, cross-dressing, and even not human. In the end, the girl group played with them. Why not just die in bed? However, after taking a closer look at the outfits of these women and the dean of Tianxing College who was leading them, Xiu's face changed. Isn't this Tianxing College? One of the 5 elemental colleges of the Tianzhou Empire. How could they appear here? No one answered her question. When Xiaoyao, the dean of Tianxing College, saw Zhu Qinghe's face, her expression changed drastically. She bowed in the direction of Nian'an. Since His Majesty the Emperor of the Great Ming Dynasty has something to do now, we will leave first and discuss the details with His Majesty later. Details. The 2 word fell into Xiu's ears, and the other party's eyes narrowed instantly. Goodbye. After saying that, Nian'an turned around and slowly returned to his dragon chair. Click. The moment the people from Tianxing College left the Nian'an Palace, the doors slowly closed by Xiufu. He skillfully took a bag of gold soul coins from Xiaoyang's hand. Then this old servant will wait for the arrival of Tianxing College. Hearing this, Xiaoyang smiled, turned around and left with the students. She is now going to bring another group of students far away in Tianzhou. Why, are the palace maids and those catwomen not enough for you to play with, and now you have to personally go down to select a female group and female soul masters to supplement your harem? Inside the Nian'an Palace. After all the guards, eunuchs, and palace maids left, Zhu Qinghe's somewhat immature voice rang out. Since Zhu Qinghe is in a stage of voice change, Xiu has been simulating the voice change period recently. Nian'an frowned when he heard it. You are questioning me? Swish. Nian'an instantly turned into a golden after image and appeared beside Xiu, with one hand already grabbing the other's chin. You can't control my private affairs now, and, at this point, Nian'an's voice became serious. I'll tell you one last time, don't wear that dead face when you see me. After hearing Nian'an's words, Xiu's delicate body trembled, pursed her lips and slowly took off the human skin mask on her face. Woo woo. The next moment, her thin lips were covered fiercely. Asshole. Xiu finally bit hard, unable to bear the humiliation. Finally, Nian'an held his lips and left, quietly feeling the bloody taste in his mouth. Tell me, why did you come to me this time? Xiu usually didn't come to me easily, but once she did, it was definitely not a good thing. I want to make a deal with you. Chapter 69. Xiu was played badly. Chapter 69. Xiu was played badly. Trading, Nian'an smiled. As for Xiu coming to him alone, he actually had a little guess in his heart, but this guess was 100% confirmed by him the moment Xiu said the words of trading with him. When he thought of this, Nian'an immediately gave up the idea of taking advantage and relieving his worries. Last time he failed to eat the other party, this time, he should be able to do it. Thinking of this, Nian'an's mouth curled up a smile, and an interested expression appeared on his face. He asked. I don't know, Xiaoyao. No, it should be that His Royal Highness the Crown Prince wants to make a deal with me. At the beginning of the transaction, Nian'an instinctively distanced himself from Xiu. What a joke, what if I'm being polite? Do you know this person? Anyway, I don't know him. Xiu noticed the alienation in Nian'an's tone, but she didn't care. I need a weapon. I heard that you, the Ming Dynasty, obtained a strange longsword in the battle between the demigod, Long Xiaoyao, and the Elder of the Judgment of the Spirit Hall not long ago. It has a holy light, pure and untainted, and possesses pure light power. I want it, so, give it to me. Even if it is a reward for you bullying me for so long, the grudge between us is written off. From now on, I am still the Prince of the Tianzhou Empire, and you are still the Emperor of the Ming Empire. We are closer and can call each other cousins. Hearing this, Nian'an narrowed his eyes and looked at Xiu with disgust. This matter-of-fact tone is really speechless. He really doesn't think he owes her, right? No, you really don't think I'm afraid of your revenge, right? We had a previous transaction before, why do you want to use the previous transaction to settle this transaction? Also, your service is not good at all. You always yell every time. I'm lucky that I don't complain to you. Then what do you want? Xiu took a deep breath. Haven't you heard that the easiest way to capture a man's heart is to give him a child? Click. Although Xiu had been prepared for a long time, when she really came to this moment, she couldn't help but be frantically warned. However, for that family, for the inheritance of angels. I have been humiliated so many times by this guy in front of me, am I still afraid of this time? Crash. Come on, I will hate you forever. Xiu closed her eyes. Seeing Xiu's scene, the smile on Nian'an's face froze. Is this what he wanted? It seems that Xiu was played by him. Don't you think you have no bottom line at all? Do you give it to me if I want it? Besides me, will you give it to others if they want it? Snap. Stop talking nonsense, don't you want it? Isn't this what you want? You're about to get it, why are you pretending? Do you think this will make you feel better? I tell you, the reason why I became like this is not unrelated to you. Is this, giving up on yourself? Feeling the heat on his face. Let's just give up. Back on the throne, Nian'an did not make any other moves, his eyes quietly looking at Xiu who had turned into Snow White. A transaction is a transaction, don't take it seriously. And, this time, you do it yourself. As long as you finish what you do, I will definitely finish what I do. Pursing her lips, Xiu slowly moved her numb body and climbed onto the dragon throne that was already occupied. After the storm, Xiu held the dragon throne, which was in a mess. Nian'an, who entered the sage mode, looked at the crystal on Xiu's face with disgust. Seeing the disdain in Nian'an's eyes, Xiu suddenly felt a surge of resentment in her heart. Where did the love and love before go? She started to dislike it after it was over. Xiu lowered her head and wanted to kiss Nian'an and return the crystal to him. As soon as she bent down, she saw the naked disdain on Nian'an's face. If you dare to bring that thing, I promise you will regret doing so. Hearing this, Xiu stopped. It's over, it's time for you to give me the thing. Nian'an's right hand flashed, and a floating longsword suddenly appeared in his right hand. The moment the longsword appeared, golden light shone, illuminating the entire Mingwang Palace. Xiu's eyes lit up. As long as this thing is found, then all the suffering and humiliation she endured will be worth it. Thinking of this, Xiu decisively stretched out her hand to the angel holy sword. Without waiting for Xiu to make any move, Nian'an waved his hand and directly took the angel holy sword back into the storage ring. Ouch, what are you doing? Xiu glared at Nian'an after her jade hand grabbed nothing. At this time, Nian'an acted as if his conspiracy had succeeded. Xiaoyao, don't forget that the deal between us is that you give me a child. Whenever you can, give birth to a bloodliner for my Ming Empire and my Zhu family. Rest assured, not only this angel sword, but also anything you want in the entire Douluo continent, I will get it for you. Xiu's face turned pale instantly after hearing this. Asshole, what do you want to do? Nian'an, if you don't give me the angel sword, I will never forgive you in my life. Is this what you men are like? None of you can be trusted. I hate you, are you sent by God to punish me? From now on, Xiu knew what a man's mouth was, a lie. Because of the episode where Nian'an lied to her, Xiu not only hated Nian'an, but also hated all men in the world. Seeing Xiu's resentful eyes, Nian'an smiled. Hated. Hate me, and everyone. In this way, you will only be mine. Just after leaving the Mingwan Palace, Nian'an saw only Xiufu. At this time, Xiufu handed over a bottle of pills without changing his expression. Your Majesty, the Imperial Hospital made Liuwei pills according to the recipe of thousands of years. We have to take care of our bodies from childhood, but special hobbies are special hobbies. Your Majesty, please don't delay that development of the Ming royal bloodliner. Nian'an glanced at the other party, and then spit out 2 words lightly. Stupid. With such a good body, why do you have to eat this thing? No, something seems to be wrong. Time passed little by little, and 3 months passed in the blink of an eye. Nian'an successfully broke through level 50, but the Soul Spirit Tower did not find a good soul, and Nian'an did not want to use the 800,000-year soul ring in the system space for the time being. So, he was dragged down. However, in the past few months, the all-continental high-level Soul Master competition held by the Spirit Hall and the Ming Empire has been approaching its finale. May 23rd was Nian'an's 7th birthday, and it was also the last day of the all-continental high-level Soul Master competition. On this day, the Ming Empire saw a shocking scene of thousands of nations coming to pay tribute and Soul Masters everywhere. Countless people came to watch and see who would make it to the end and win the championship of this all-continental high-level Soul Master competition. Chapter 70. Continental Advanced Soul Master Competition. The Ming Dynasty Fighting Spirit Arena. A huge flashing light illuminated the arena, and countless display screens were set up. In the middle of the display screen, the flags of the Ming Empire and the Spirit Hall fluttered wildly. Welcome everyone to witness the final stage of the 5-year All-Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Competition. After today, the strongest Advanced Spirit Master Academy on the continent will be born here. Let us invite the participant of this competition, the Pope of the Spirit Hall, who has a high status in the Spirit Master world. Hoo-la-la! Countless people in the audience applauded. The lights on the stage began to flicker slowly, and finally gathered quickly. Not long after, a beautiful young woman wearing a white and gold gauze, holding a scepter, and wearing a jade crown on her head slowly walked over. Students of the Advanced Spirit Master Academy are entering. Following the host's registration list, a group of young people wearing the Spirit Hall Spirit Master Academy uniform slowly walked over. Their age is generally older. How old is it? It is infinitely close to the age limit of 25 years old for all Advanced Spirit Masters in the continent. It is estimated that many of them are 25 years old. Of course, this group of people can't participate in the next Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy competition. It's estimated that they will only be eliminated in the first round. Greetings to His Holiness the Pope. Greetings to His Holiness the Pope. Swish, swish, swish. After finding their own positions, the Soul Master students of the Spirit Hall knelt on one knee without hesitation. Seeing this scene, Bai Dom had no expression on her face. No. But she couldn't help but start to beat her drum in her heart. Why didn't Nian'an, the leader of the Ming Empire, show up at this time? Moreover, Nian'an did not give the Imperial Recommendation quota to the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Master Academy. Instead, he gave it to a women's college that moved from the Tianxing Empire to the Ming Empire. Although this women's college showed amazing strength and made it all the way to the finals, there is still a lot of gap compared to the Spirit Hall. Backstage, Nian'an quietly watched the hot dance of the girl group. Although the white flowers in front of him were inevitably wrapped in stockings, wouldn't it feel better this way? A dance ended. The captain of Tianxing College, who was in the lead, slowly brought his 6 members to Nian'an. Happy birthday, Your Majesty. Today we will definitely do our best to win the championship of the All-Continental High-Level Soul Master Elite Competition. This dance is just the beginning. If there are any shortcomings, please give me more advice, Your Majesty. Hearing this, Nian'an glanced at the other party. Yan was indeed good-looking, otherwise he would not have been able to went to Tianxing College and become the captain of this generation of Tianxing College. Nian'an's eyes went from the other party's face, eyes, mouth, gradually to the peak of the chest, the thin waist, and finally stopped at the long legs. Change to white next time, the blue dance is a bit unsightly. The moment Nian'an said this, the host's broadcast sounded again. Please, the girls at Tianxing College come on stage as soon as possible. Tap tap tap. Silently watching the white long legs in front of him pass by. 5 minutes later, the host's voice sounded again. Please ask His Majesty the Emperor of the Ming Dynasty to supervise the finals. Thump. When the lights were still searching for Nian'an had already appeared in the highest and most luxurious box. Looking up from below, a figure wearing a dragon robe appeared faintly in the box. He sat on the huge dragon throne, with his right hand resting on the armchair, and his small head leaning gently. Your Majesty, Your Majesty. This is Her Majesty. He has done what he promised us before. Not only that, our Ming Dynasty has become the most powerful empire on the continent. Long live His Majesty, long live the Ming Dynasty. Crash. A series of strange sounds suddenly rang out at the scene. Bai Dong frowned and looked down at the stage, only to see that the audience stood up, and then fell to the ground and bowed. Since the United Nations meeting 3 months ago, Nian'an has not appeared in the public's field of vision for nearly 100 days. In these 100 days, the Ming Empire has developed rapidly, and buildings have sprung up one after another. Almost most of the people in Minqing have received compensation for demolition and given new houses. At the same time, countless statues of Nian'an were carved and placed in various squares. It happened to be Nian'an's birthday banquet, and this group of people had already worshipped Nian'an to the point of obsession and madness. Various loyalty blessings, plus the influence, dominance, and deterrence of the Ming Empire in the past 6 months, all reminded them that everything they had finally obtained today was given by someone. I'm well. Facing the response of the fanatical crowd, Nian'an just replied with 2 words. At this time, Bai Dong was already sweating profusely. That man, just a shadow, could send so many people to climax in an instant with just 1 sentence. If it were me, could I do it? For that college team that won the championship this time, I will give this team a reward that will benefit them for life. The previous competitions have always been hosted by the Spirit Hall. Now Nian'an is not stingy in the finals, and he is ready to give rewards to the winning team of this final. After hearing Nian'an's words, Bai Dong's eyes flashed. In order to show all your strength in this competition, you can do whatever you want. The next soul fighting field will be hosted by Ming Lady, the Dean of the Sun Moon Royal Soul Instructor Academy of the Ming Empire, and Ghost Duo, the Elder of our Spirit Hall. After a series of locked inspections, the final soul fighting finally began. In the huge soul fighting field, the people at the Spirit Hall and the people of Tianxing College were on opposite sides. The soul fighting begins. As the soul fighting officially began, rows of yellow, purple and purple soul rings appeared in the team of the Spirit Hall. However, in the middle, the owner of the spirit of a silver crocodile actually had the 5th and only black 10,000-year soul ring. Compared with the Soul King that appeared in the team of the Spirit Hall, the soul rings of the team of Tianxing College were relatively monotonous, all of which were yellow, purple and purple. Water control. Facing the appearance of the Soul King, Tianxing College did not panic. It took the lead in occupying the ground advantage and made the ground a vast ocean. Freezing ray. In the air, a pair of ice blue wings suddenly spread out, and a purple soul ring flashed. The control-type soul masters behind the Spirit Hall were frozen first. With both the ground and the air under control, the Spirit Hall team was at a disadvantage in an instant. But the Spirit Hall team has not started to fight back from the beginning to now. Violent power. Across from Tianxing College, a burst of red light suddenly fell. Binglo narrowed her eyes when she saw this. Before she could react, a figure quickly jumped out from the crowd of the Spirit Hall. The target was none other than the owner of the Articuno spirit in the air. Be careful. Chapter 71 Champion. Inside the Know. 1 box. Various information about the Spirit Hall team was quickly placed in front of Nian'an. With a quick glance, Nian'an found the information about the extremely tall man. Chengdu. Spirit. Tiger, feeds on birds, age. 25 spirit power. 48, tiger is thin and small. Although he has the weakest frontal combat ability among tigers, his limbs have extremely strong jumping ability. With the nickname of feeding on birds, he is an extremely strong agile attack spirit. Above the fighting spirit arena, the Articuno bird spirit master who received the reminder was trying to distance himself. However, 2 purple spirit rings rose from the body of the tiger spirit master at the same time. 2,000-year spirit rings were used together. Tiger shock. Roar. With a tiger roar, the Articuno bird spirit master felt his head numb and could not move. Tiger kill. Puff. Tianxing College, Dongji lost her combat ability and was out. The Dark Thunder kidnapped the person in mid-air. The next second, the host's voice resounded in the broadcast. Dongji. Seeing that his side had lost her fighting partner in an instant, Binglo gritted his teeth. Sisters, come here and stand behind me. After hearing the words of their captain, the students of Tianxing College gathered quickly without hesitation. But the next moment, a huge blue jellyfish suddenly appeared behind Bingluo. Countless tentacles quickly extended. At the same time, 2 huge purple soul rings shone on Bingluo's body. 3rd soul skill, paralysis control. Swish swish swish. Countless tentacles extended to the entire venue, and soon everyone in the Spirit Hall was infected with tentacles, and their movements began to slow down. 4th soul skill, deadly toxin. Bang. 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 At the moment when Bingnuo's fourth soul skill came out, a large number of students in the Spirit Hall Academy team suddenly fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth, and twitching all over. Ghost Douluo narrowed his eyes when he saw this scene, and quickly rescued the person from the fighting arena. In the fighting arena of the Wihun Hall, a pair of blood-red eyes suddenly raised up. The owner of these eyes was the only Soul King on the scene. The tentacles madly wrapped around the silver-armored crocodile, and when the tentacles were conducting poison, they were completely blocked and isolated, until the silver armor on the surface of the crocodile was completely black. The owner of the silver-armored crocodile's martial soul raised his hand expressionlessly and tore off countless dense tentacles. Looking at the water under his feet, the opponent suddenly crawled down, and a purple soul ring lit up on his body. Silver Crocodile Charge. The auxiliary soul master of Tianxing College originally wanted to create a special water field for his teammates. After all, water is the home field of Tianxing College. But unexpectedly, water is also the home field of crocodiles. Almost in the blink of an eye, the owner of the silver-armored crocodile's martial soul rushed in front of them. Water escape. Behind Bingnuo, a person stood up, and the next moment a huge water escape condensed. The owner of the silver-armored crocodile's martial spirit stopped his steps, and the next second he stood up, a purple soul ring lit up on his body, and he turned around suddenly. Woo! The silver tail behind him, wrapped in the power of the wild wind, whipped fiercely. Split tail 100 spin. A silver tail, directly 365 degrees without dead angles, quickly whipped towards the girls of Tianxing College through water escape. Snap. Ah! The next moment, the 6 people were instantly whipped away and fell to the edge of the ring. Is this the Soul King? Low-level absolute suppression, he didn't even release his 5th soul skill. Bingnuo looked up, glanced at the owner of the silver-armored crocodile's martial spirit, and then looked at his teammates around him. Sisters, we promised His Majesty. For the Ming Dynasty, for the glory of the Empire. After hearing Bingnuo's words, everyone suddenly stood up. Looking at the determined eyes of their captain, they knew what they should do now. Snap. With the sound of mechanical rotation, a quadrilateral soul guide cannon suddenly appeared on Bingnuo's body. The other students of Tianxing College could not help but come behind her again, put their hands on her shoulders, and injected soul power. Go, Sister Nuo. But the next moment, the scene became quiet, and the high-speed soul guide core was rotating rapidly. After a while, the quadrilateral tentacles of the soul guide cannon worn by Bingnuo began to condense light. Strong, dazzling light. Bang! In the second box, Bai Dom slammed the table and stood up. This is a soul guide device. The Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Guide Academy also participated in this continent-wide Advanced Soul Guide Academy competition. But it was eliminated early. There was no way, most of them were more than 10 levels, and there was not even a 20 level one. But it also left a deep impression on many kingdoms, the 2 empires, and even the Wihun Hall. Just because 7 kids carrying soul guide cannons fought in a 20th level Grand Military Strategist stage team, and defeated several 3-ring soul masters by relying on cooperation. This is incredible. But the facts are in front of us. Now, soul guides appear again in the finals, and looking at the manufacturing process of this soul guide, it is obviously many levels higher than the soul guides that appeared in the previous competition. Feeling the changes in the air around him and the condensed light of the soul guide cannon on Bingnuo, the owner of the silver-armored crocodile's martial spirit frowned. Quickly stepped forward. When he was 3 meters away from Bingnuo, Bingnuo did not hesitate at all and directly pressed the fire button. Bang boom! The next moment, the fighting spirit field was covered by a burst of white light. In the white light, the owner of the silver-armored crocodile's martial spirit suddenly spit out a mouthful of blood, and a black soul ring flew out of his body. The real body of the Crocodile King. Bang! When the white light dissipated, all the students of Tianxing College collapsed to the ground. Bingnuo looked at the empty fighting spirit field and suddenly smiled. We won, we are the champions. On the other side, Bai Dong widened her eyes in shock. 6 seriously injured soul masters, people without any attack power, could actually rely on soul guides and soul power to defeat a soul king? Isn't it true that as long as there is enough soul power and the soul guides are advanced enough, multiple soul kings can also defeat soul emperors? Multiple soul emperors can also defeat soul saints, and multiple soul saints can also defeat soul duos, and even titled duos, super duos? If Nian'an heard the other party's thoughts, he would only smile. Indeed, let alone super duos, even extreme, peerless, and legendary gods can be killed as long as you can make a soul guide. Let us congratulate the Tianxing College of the Ming Empire for winning the championship of this all-continental advanced soul master competition. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the main task of the empire. In the all-continental advanced soul master competition, the Ming Empire College won the first place. Reward: artificial soul bone, enlightenment dozens of times. The champion reward provided by the Spirit Hall is a 10,000-year soul bone and 1,000,000 gold soul coins. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 72: The Imperial Edict to Suppress the Sea Monster. P.S. Brothers, the author was careless and posted the wrong chapter. This chapter is Chapter 72. The chapter name shall prevail. Chapter 72. The Idea of Going Out to Sea. Ming Empire. In the east of Ming City, the treatment room of Tianxing College. It's nothing serious, just exhaustion caused by excessive loss of soul power. Eat more nutritious food and rest more, and you will recover soon. Girls, you're awesome. On behalf of the Imperial Hospital, I would like to express my most respectful congratulations to you. Thank you for defending the glory of the Ming Empire. After treating the injuries of the girls who won the all-continental high-level soul master competition at Tianxing College, the Imperial doctors of the Imperial Hospital bowed and left. Looking at the gratified eyes of the old Imperial doctor, the respectful look of the middle-aged Imperial doctor, and the admiring eyes of the young Imperial doctor, the 7 students of Tianxing College were instantly filled with a hot emotion. Before they could discuss something touchingly, the door was slowly pushed open. Xiaoyao, the dean of Tianxing College, walked in. After seeing that the girls were not in any strange state, he slowly opened the door again. Not long after, Xufu, dressed in a dark black robe, walked in. Ha! Girls, you are so lucky that His Majesty can release the Imperial physician from the palace to treat your injuries. You know, since the establishment of the Ming Empire, you are the only ones who can let the Imperial physician leave the Imperial Hospital and the palace. After hearing Xufu's words, the female students of Tianxing College widened their eyes. They didn't know what this meant. Okay, Lord Zhu, now you should talk about the important things. Xue Bingxian saw her dazed students and didn't want to put too much pressure on them, so she quickly spoke to help. Ahem, Imperial Edict. Crash. Looking at the person in front of him who quickly took action, Xufu smiled. Ming Wang, seeing that you have made great contributions this time and have been injured, you don't have to kneel down. After saying that, Xufu put on a serious face again. Tianxing College has lived up to my expectations and won the first place in the entire continent's Advanced Soul Master College. I will fulfill my promise and give 7 people in its team items that will benefit them for life, a soul bone of their own choice for 100,000 years, and one of their best soul rings. Unlimited years, can be designated for hunting. Swish swish swish. Everyone in the treatment room widened their eyes instantly, even the dean of Tianxing College, Xue Bingxian, was not surprised. Tianxing College came to the Ming Empire and received many benefits, preferential policies, a large amount of gold soul coins subsidies, and the best mimicry training from the Ming Empire. This is what they didn't have in the Tianzhou Empire. What made Xue Bingxian most happy was that the only place in the empire for the all-continental Advanced Soul Master competition was not given to the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Instructor College, which was the direct line of the Ming Empire. Instead, it was given to Tianxing College, which had just come to the Ming Empire, making Tianxing College feel a unique favor. Not only that, it also secretly assisted them with high-level soul guides, so that they won the championship of the all-continent high-level soul master competition. Now, the Ming Empire not only did not take the championship reward, the Spirit Hall's 10,000-year soul bone, and 1,000,000 gold soul coins, but gave them all to Tianxing College. Now it is also preparing to give Tianxing College a special treatment. The soul bone of the 100,000-year soul beast is a top-grade soul bone. There is also a soul ring with no age limit. Doesn't it mean that when you reach level 90, you can specify your blood-red 100,000-year soul ring? You have to know that there are so many titled Douluo in the entire continent, let alone the entire continent. How many titled Douluo have a 100,000-year soul ring? Dean Shui, believe in the sun and the moon, believe in Ming, believe in the empire and believe in the party. His Majesty is really optimistic about you. The cornerstone of the future empire. Okay, if you have decided what part of the soul bone you want, what age, and what designated soul beast you want, please make a form for me, and I will return to His Majesty. After saying that, Xu Fu withdrew from Tianxing College. But he did not return to the Deming Palace immediately. Instead, he ran to the Mingqing residence of the Tiando Empire's envoy group. Hello, by the order of His Majesty the Emperor of Deming, please invite His Royal Highness the Crown Prince to the palace for a chat. Hearing Xu Fu's request, the envoy of the Tiando Empire was full of apologies. It's really unfortunate, Lord Xu Fu, my Crown Prince has been in seclusion recently to challenge the second-level Soul Mento, so I can't do it. Half an hour later. Deming Palace, Nian'an Hall. Sitting on the huge dragon chair, Nian'an looked down at the hall. There were people in the hall, eunuchs, palace maids, and even Jinniwia, no less than 100 people. But Nian'an still felt lonely. Your Majesty, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Tiando is trying to become a level 2 Soul Master recently, so he was not invited. Nian'an did not speak, but looked up silently. Is this the price of becoming an emperor, of mastering the pinnacle of power? Sunset. Crash. Nian'an sat on a recline, quietly watching the waves of the east coast hitting the wall. The Pope of the Spirit Hall sends his congratulations, may Your Majesty have a happy birthday. Xingluo Empire, Tiando Empire, Tianxing Kingdom, NATO United Nations, the voices of reporting never stopped in his ears. Looking at the other side of the sea. No, my mission is not completed. Not only the country, the Soul Master world, the continent, even the sea, wherever you look, it should be me, it should be my territory of the Ming Dynasty. Ding, trigger the Empire side quest, Eastern Standard Time Apparition Maritime Military Base. Looking at the prompt that popped up from the system, Nian'an rekindled his heart. As expected, people can't be idle. Otherwise, I would only think about making soy milk. Going out to sea. I want to go out to sea, just in time to get a batch of sea soul beast souls into the Soul Tower for the group of female students from Tianxing College. In this way, I will have soul beasts not only on land, but also on the sea. Of course, I can also take the opportunity to find out if there are soul beasts over 100,000 years old to provide myself with the 5th soul ring. If it is overseas, it should be possible, right? Order Xiaoyao to go overseas with me. Xiaoyao, this name has not appeared for a long time, since Nian'an led his troops to attack Tiando. Xiaoyao returned to the Deming Empire to heal his wounds and fell in love with a nurse from the Deming Hospital. When the Dragon Guards retreated to the second line, Xiaoyao also retreated. After so long, although the baby has not been born yet, his wife is already pregnant. So Nian'an didn't look for him during this period. Although Nian'an doesn't pay attention to these messes, he has the Jinniwia. The Jinniwia is Nian'an's eyes, monitoring the Deming for him. Xu family. When the Jinniwia wearing fair clothing and holding embroidered spring swords came here, it immediately caused an uproar. Although the Xu family has a special status in the Ming Empire, because of this special status, almost no one holds real power, and they are in a state of being sidelined by the royal family. Because of this, it is self-evident how difficult it is for the Xu family to produce a powerful general in such a situation. However, there is such a person as Xiaoyao. Although he has retreated to the second line, he is still a popular person in the eyes of the Ming Emperor. Look, the Jinniwia who was the vanguard of His Majesty have come. Xiaoyao, listen to the order. Swish. In the Xu family, a burly man with a pregnant young woman standing beside him stood up suddenly. I am here. Seeing Xiaoyao, the Jinniwia breathed a sigh of relief and continued. From now on, follow His Majesty to sea and patrol the Ming Sea area. Chapter 73 The idea of going out to sea. P.S. Brothers, the author accidentally posted the wrong chapter. This chapter is chapter 73. The chapter name shall prevail. Chapter 73. The Imperial Edict to Suppress the Sea Monster. May 26, 2626. Because of Nian'an's order, countless people in the Ministry of Industry of the Ming Empire were mobilized. The shipyard was restarted because the development of the Ming Empire was suspended. Countless old ships that were built but not launched before, or retired, were launched one after another. In a short period of time, hundreds of ships formed a terrifying fleet. This time, Nian'an did not bring many people, only a few thousand dragon guards, and he started patrolling the sea directly. 10 miles away from the east coast, Nian'an found many hundred-year soul beasts here. Without any hesitation, he directly ordered a siege. At the moment when hundreds of ships surrounded and countless fishing nets were opened, this group of 100-year soul beasts had no power to escape. Just collect their blood. While waiting for the group of 100-year soul beasts to be surrounded in panic, Nian'an asked people to open a gap, cut a hole in their bodies, take out the blood, and then put a fish into the mouth of the soul beast whose blood was taken, and let it go. This sea area will belong to him in the future. Why should he be so mean and make all the living creatures suffer? By then, there will be no soul beasts in his sea area, and it will be a wasteland. Nian'an couldn't do it. Compared with humans, Nian'an would be more tolerant of these 100-year soul beasts that have no wisdom, only know how to eat, and know how to cry when they are in pain. Of course, these are soul beasts similar to dolphins, which are particularly aggressive and deadly. Nian'an will not hesitate to order them to be killed. Whether it is people from other countries on the mainland or soul beasts in the sea area of his own country, they are not as good as his own people of the Ming dynasty, let alone the dragon guards that he is most optimistic about. After sampling a large number of 100-year soul beasts, the fleet of the Ming Empire set sail again. Catch and release along the way. Of course, not all sea soul beasts are good-tempered. For example, the 1,000-year soul beasts that were 100 miles out to sea had basically never seen humans, and they all had a certain attack power. Nian'an had no choice but to use force to deter them. 2 months later, Nian'an's Ming fleet had traveled thousands of kilometers on the sea. After hunting several batches of 10,000-year soul beasts, although they were very careful, they still caused certain losses. But it was still far from Nian'an's goal. The 100,000-year soul beast was nowhere in sight. Of course, Nian'an did not waste these few months. During these few months, he practiced absolute concentration on the bumpy ship, and successfully made a 3rd-level soul guide. He is already a glorious 3rd-level soul guide. Kaka. At this moment, there was a roar in the sky. In an instant, the originally clear sky changed dramatically. Soul beasts. Soul beasts, there are so many sea soul beasts. No, they are all high-edge soul beasts. No, General, our fleet is surrounded. Inside the main ship. Nian'an listened to the noise outside the plywood and frowned suddenly. He was about to go out to see what was going on, but before he could make any move, a dragon guard in golden armor ran in. It's bad, Your Majesty, I'm afraid we have entered the territory of other soul beasts. We are surrounded now. Behind every ship, there is basically a 10,000-year soul beast following. Behind every ship, there is a 10,000-year soul beast following. What a joke, the Ming fleet has more than 100 ships in total. However, looking at the serious expression of the dragon guard, it should be true. Swish. He was sweating profusely. However, fortunately, they are some 10,000-year soul beasts. They are not very intelligent, but with Long Xiaoyao here, they can be scared away. Just when Nian'an was thinking about whether to let Long Xiaoyao take action, Xiaoyao's voice slowly sounded outside the cabin. Your Majesty Xiaoyao, please order me to repel the sea monsters. After hearing his words, Nian'an was stunned. Using an imperial decree to repel these 10,000-year soul beasts, is this possible? Theoretically, as long as the Ming Empire is within its borders, there will be national destiny. However, since he has already left the sea for thousands of miles, can this theory still be useful? Thinking of this, Nian'an felt that he had discovered a bug. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. He is not in a desperate situation, and the Ming Empire is not without experts. Accurate. A faint word fell, and a golden scroll quickly flew out of the cabin. Pure gold. Holding the imperial edict, Xiaoyao left. Today, a demonic wind disturbed the emperor. The sea monster intends to assassinate against the will of heaven and blaspheme the dragon's power. Its crime is punishable by death. If the sea monster knows, listen to my words and stop before it is too late. Otherwise, the demon blood will fill the sea, and the blood will be slaughtered for thousands of miles, and the race will be exterminated. Disperse. At the moment when Xiaoyao threw out the imperial edict in his hand, a golden light suddenly pierced through the dark clouds. Roar. The next moment, a piercing dragon roar instantly resounded through the world. In the broken clouds, a golden 5-clawed golden dragon suddenly raised its head and roared. Bang bang bang. The next moment, the sea surface exploded, and soon, huge monsters floated on the sea surface. Report to Your Majesty, the guardian beast of the country has taken action, and all the 10,000-year soul beasts have floated up. Inside the main cabin, Nian'an was stunned. Then he suddenly lifted the curtain, and soon he saw with his own eyes the huge figures floating on the sea surface. Wow, the guardian beast of the country has this function. No, the guardian beast of the country seems to have 100,000 years of cultivation when it was very young. Last time when the Ming dynasty reached its peak, it not only made its body bigger, but also fed itself with soul rings. It can only be said that its strength has now exceeded the 10,000 years. Report, an island was found 100 miles ahead. Land, finally found land, it was worth walking for so long. But Nian'an was a little curious about where it was. He sent someone to look at the floating sea soul beast, and found that it was just fainted, and quickly collected blood samples. Xiaoyao Island. Xiaoyao Island is just an island country. The land area of the island country is not large, only more than 100 kilometers, and most of it is reefs, without plants. There are more than 100,000 people living on it, and more than 10,000 regular troops. There is a country called Benri living on it. Buzz buzz buzz. When the fleet of the Ming Empire approached the coastline, the troops stationed on the shore were dumbfounded. When did so many fleets appear? There are hundreds of ships. Nian'an didn't talk nonsense, and didn't want to understand the local customs. He just wanted to complete the task as soon as possible and absorb the soul ring in his system. There was no way, it was really impossible to find a 100,000-year-old sea soul beast. From now on, this island is taken over by my Ming Empire. What? This is your island? In the Ming waters, if you dare to invade the Ming Islands, I think you don't want to live. Xiaoyao didn't hesitate at all and led people to directly eliminate the local warlords. That's right, it was the warlords who invaded the Ming Islands. This is the island of Nian'an, and now it is just being returned to its original owner. Any objections? Who dares to object? However, what surprised Nian'an was that after discovering this island, he actually learned on this island that there is another country to the west of this island. This country is very large, and this island country was previously affiliated with that country. Assholes, bastards, our great Japanese nation will not let you invaders go. Just wait for your severe revenge. Chapter 74: The Empire on which the sun never sets. The Great Sun Country. When he first came to this place, there were many things Nian'an didn't understand. Fortunately, after Xiaoyao led the Dragon Guards to eliminate the local warlords and hundreds of soul masters who called themselves warriors with zero casualties, the masses with high ideological awareness directly defected to the Ming Empire. Indirectly explained the situation of the country of Benri. It turned out that the country of Benri was not called the Great Sun Country. Its real name was the Great Sun Empire. It was an empire with vast land and abundant resources and flourishing technology. Before, Benri was a vassal state of the Great Sun Empire, and it had to offer money, beauties, and food every year. As he listened, Nian'an couldn't help but think of a homeland in his memory. There is another empire on the other side of the Douluo continent sea. It seems that this empire already has the prototype of technology. This made Nian'an feel a little familiar. It seems that after 10,000 years, because of the movement of the Earth's crust and the collision of the continents, the empire that appeared was exactly the same. Could it be that he really found the organization? However, the current empire does not seem to have reached the state it will be in 10,000 years. It is in the middle of the Sun-Moon Empire. Nian'an was a little confused and a little fuzzy. He asked local people who had been to the Great Sun Empire where the Great Sun Empire was located. After knowing the specific location of the Great Sun Empire, Nian'an did not go there immediately. Instead, he set up camp on Xiaoyao Island and began to wait. For no other reason, because Nian'an learned from the mouths of these indigenous people that in a few days, people from the Great Sun Empire would come to patrol the sea area, and there would be merchant ships. Nian'an's goal this time has been mostly completed. Although the 100,000-year soul ring has not been found, it is a pleasant surprise to find that predecessor of the Sun-Moon Empire. And the people he brought this time are not enough to attack the Great Sun Empire. So, why not wait and see the development level of the other party's soul guide? In fact, Nian'an is still afraid that the Great Sun Empire in ancient times will suddenly take out a 10th level soul guide, so he will test it first for safety. At this time, many indigenous people's homes are experiencing the same thing. Little sister, for the revival of the family and for our family to stand up in the village, please complete the task. Big sister, every citizen has a responsibility for the prosperity of the country, and you also have a responsibility. You don't want to see our people being bullied at will, right? The opportunity to improve our root genes has come. As long as we succeed, we can also cross thousands of miles and expedition to the vast and fertile land like that powerful country. Dai you sail, please, madam. On the first night, extremely bad things happened in the military camp. When Xiaoyao found Nian'an with an ugly face, leaned over and whispered the whole story, Nian'an's face twitched. The sky just brightened. In a huge square, countless women were detained, the youngest was no more than 14, and the oldest was more than 60. Nian'an glanced at the group of local male natives with pleading eyes. They were very short, and 1 meter 5 or 6 was already the best among them. They basically had no soul power in their bodies, and even their martial souls were all kinds of farm tools. I know your dilemma. Seeing that our men warriors are unparalleled, we want to improve the qualifications of our offspring and solve the problem from the root, but the white powder on your faces is like a ghost, who can do it? To be honest, Nian'an is indeed the most loyal racist. You know, before becoming a soul master, the Dragon Guard had a physique at the peak of human physical fitness. Such qualifications and genes were tainted by the indigenous people who Nian'an identified as inferior people. It would be a shame for them in dynasty. I hope this is the first time and the last time. After saying that, Nian'an turned around. On the huge square, the huge sun and moon flag suddenly rose. From now on, Xiaoyao Island will be a military island for my Ming Empire. And you are still the country of this country, stationed on the neighboring island in the waters of my Ming Empire, blessed by my Ming Empire, enjoying my Ming technology, paying tribute every year. Does the country of this country have any objections? Does he dare to have any objections? Why does he have any objections? Isn't it just a change of tribute payers? This person is even better. He taught them to train and gave them weapons. What did the Great Sun Empire give them? Nothing, just the big mouth they love to eat. Ding, congratulations to the host Great Ming Empire for establishing the first overseas military base. Rewards. The 9th level Great Ming aircraft carrier, the escort fleet, paired missiles, the self-made map of the Great Ming aircraft carrier, the escort fleet. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering the main task of the Empire and establishing the Empire on which the sun never sets. The Empire on which the sun never sets. No matter which corner or direction, the territory of the Great Ming is illuminated by the sun at all times. This is the Empire on which the sun never sets. Completing this achievement will earn you the glory, title, of the Empire on which the sun never sets. Nian'an was delighted when he saw the system's reward this time. Aircraft carriers. With aircraft carriers and fleets, the Dragon Guards can be quickly transported over. It will be easier to attack the Great Sun Empire in the future, right? He took a look at the main task of the Empire that was triggered by the system again. Nian'an felt a little itchy in his heart. The sun never sets, tsk, for an emperor, what a tempting thing that is. Thinking of this, Nian'an turned his head and glanced at the natives of Japan, and did not order them to be eliminated. For Nian'an, this group of powerless people did not pose any threat at all. Instead, it made him think of a fun thing. If with the assistance of the Ming Empire, would Japan dare to turn back and bite the Great Sun Empire? According to the daily patrol of the Great Sun Empire, they should have come today. Unfortunately, Nian'an waited from dawn to dusk, but still nothing. He still didn't wait for the next 3 days. Nian'an couldn't wait any longer. He didn't want to be idle. This time he went out to sea, in addition to looking for sea soul beasts, to build a military base. Now a large amount of sea soul beast blood has been obtained, a military base has been established, and the system task has been completed, but there is no news about his 5th soul ring. After thinking that he could not obtain the 5th soul ring in a short time, Nian'an set his sights on the 800,000-year-old blood-red soul ring in his system space. On a dark and windy night. On Xiaoyao Island. A red beam of light shot straight into the sky. After a while, a blood-red soul ring with 8 life characters began to slowly appear. On the ground, Nian'an was surrounded by the Dragon Guards. In the center of the encirclement, in addition to Xiaoyao, Long Xiaoyao was also guarding. But snap. Level 51. Level 53. At the moment the soul ring fell, the soul power in Nian'an's body surged rapidly. Almost in the blink of an eye, it reached level 55. Level 56. Level 57. As time passed, the growth rate of the soul power in Nian'an's body slowly slowed down. In the end, at dawn, after a night of absorption, the soul ring slowly merged into Nian'an's body. Bang. Level 58. It finally stopped at level 58. Of course, it is not that the 800,000-year soul ring can only increase the soul power so much, but that Nian'an's current body can only absorb so much soul power. Chapter 75 Rapid Development. The next day, Nian'an boarded his own aircraft carrier. On the huge aircraft carrier deck, Nian'an quietly looked down at the entire sea. Then he left at a very fast speed. This time, Nian'an took very few people with him, only those close to him. The Dragon Guards did not go back because they had to garrison the military division base. Xiaoyao finally returned to the front line and asked for orders to garrison the overseas military base of the Ming dynasty. Nian'an did not hesitate and directly granted it. Nian'an did not stop Xiaoyao from wanting to return to the front line. In the future, he would attack the Great Sun Empire, and he might not have time to leave. It would be better to let him attack again. Of course, don't play his 100,000 Dragon Guards to death again. Ming Empire. After returning to the Ming Empire, Nian'an quickly arranged for the Dragon Guards who were married and whose wives were pregnant to go to Xiaoyao Island. Those who were not pregnant, try hard. As for those who were not married, they can basically be found. The Dragon Guards are the most elite troops of the Ming Empire. They are better and stronger than the Great Snow Dragon Cavalry. After adulthood, when the physical fitness is the strongest, the martial soul is awakened, because the soul power accumulated in the body before. Basically everyone is innately full soul power, after all, more than 20 years of soul power accumulation. In addition, relying on strong physical fitness, absorb the first soul ring of 1,000 years, which is one level higher than the Great Snow Dragon Rider. It can be said that in addition to the Great Snow Dragon Riders who are still appointed on the front line, the future children of the Dragon Guards are the main force of the Ming dynasty and the most elite team. By the way, military service in the Ming Empire is now mandatory. Except for the descendants of the Great Snow Dragon Riders, the Dragon Guards, and the Imperial Guards, the other armies of the Ming dynasty have exceeded 1 million. This is also why other countries are increasingly afraid of the Ming Empire. After Nian'an returned from the sea, the development speed of the Ming dynasty continued to accelerate. In Ming Hall, the fixed soul guide cannon, the Patriot, the fleet, and even the 9-level soul guide device Little Girl, which can only be developed by Ming Li alone, and the aircraft carrier are also being built rapidly. In the blink of an eye, 3 months have passed again. Tianxing College announced a holiday early. Last time, at the All-Continental High-Level Soul Master Competition, the female students who won first place had their first graduation. Nian'an had no intention of being stingy, and directly distributed the positions of several female officials in the court. Those who were willing to stay in Tianxing College to teach can teach as teachers, those who were willing to enter the palace can enter the palace, and those who were willing to go to other places in Ming to serve will be appointed. The financial treatment given is the best among the 3 empires, even the Witten Hall can't compare. In addition to the students of Tianxing College, the students of the Sunday and Moon Royal Soul Master Academy are also going to have a holiday. After all, it's the new year. Nian'an, holding several Soul Master badges given by Ming Hall, went to the international class in person. Here are the heirs of various countries, who have paid. There must be a sense of ceremony for the holiday. Of course, this is one of the reasons why Nian'an was willing to come when she saw Zhu Qinghe's name among the second-level high-level soul masters graduating. Wowla! Hey, Wise, have you eaten yet? Zhu, your black manicure looks so good. His Royal Highness is really amazing. In just a year, he has become the first among us to become a second-level soul master, and the first second-level senior soul master. He has really opened up a big gap with us, various flattering voices continued. The moment Nian'an walked into the international class, the class became quiet. Zhu Qinghe's pupils shrank, and secretly, the 2 hands wearing silk gloves had already been tightly clasped together. Today is your last day in the Ming Empire this year. I am here to give you a holiday and to award you the Ming Hall Soul Master Medal. After hearing Nian'an's words, many people looked happy. The Emperor of the Ming Empire personally awards medals. This must be the honor that many people dream of. I envy you. Hey, if I had known earlier, I would have worked harder. Even if it was a first-level Soul Master medal, my father would look at me with a higher regard. Nian'an ignored the noisy voices. The names were read out according to the table. Douluo Principality, Douluo Master, congratulations on your excellent performance in this year's study and receiving the first-level low-level Soul Guide medal. After hearing Nian'an's words, a thin young man who looked a little sick walked out slowly. Thank you, His Majesty the Emperor of the Great Ming Dynasty. However, before I receive my medal, can I ask your Majesty about your Soul Guide level? Nian'an did not speak, and his right hand flashed, and a 5th-level red medal appeared in his hand. Seeing this medal, many people's pupils shrank fiercely. 5-level Advanced Soul Guide. In the teaching of soul guides, they also learned a lot of knowledge. For example, a 5th level advanced soul guide can easily crush the soul king among soul masters, and even compete with the soul emperor. Nian'an master took his gold and primary 1st level low-level soul guide medal. You still have to practice. Leaving a faint sentence, Nian'an continued to read out the names. Tianxing Kingdom, 1st level intermediate soul guide medal. Nian'an took his blue medal. As time went by, most of the students in the class got their soul guide medals. Only a few people did not pass the teacher's soul guide assessment and did not get the soul guide medal. Xingluo Empire Zhuzhun, 1st level intermediate soul guide medal. Not long after, Nian'an met the so-called Davis wife. With a head of black and shiny hair, black leather jacket, bulging, she didn't look like a child of her age at all. Keep up the good work. Women can also hold up the sky and control their own destiny. If you don't believe it, look at the Queen of the Heaven Realm. Zhuzhun paused, and soon pulsed again. Xingluo Empire's eldest Prince Davis, 1st level advanced soul guide medal. After a while, Davis walked up with an ugly face. What did Nian'an mean by saying that the Heaven Realm Kingdom defected from the territory of the Xingluo Empire in front of Zhuzhun? And he also specifically mentioned his position as the eldest prince. What does Nian'an, another prince of the Tianxing Empire, think? Nian'an didn't care about his little thoughts. But to his surprise, the representatives of the Heaven Realm Kingdom and the Spirit Hall all received the 2nd level soul guide medal. Soon, it was the last one's turn. Nian'an, the crown prince of the Tianxing Empire, the 2nd level advanced soul guide medal. Swish. Nian'an stood up suddenly in the crowd and walked forward with stiff steps. Just as the other party took the badge and wanted to leave, Nian'an took out a ring from his arms. This is my first work on a soul guide. I improved it a little after I became a 5th level advanced soul guide. It's your prize for becoming the champion of this soul guide production. Don't look at it as just a ring. It not only has a space of 50 cubic meters, but also a soul skill of teleportation within 5 meters. Keep it well. I hope I'll see you wearing it next time I see you. After Nian'an took the ring with a twitching face, Nian'an smiled. Thank you, His Majesty, the Emperor of the Great Ming. His nails dug deep into his palm, and blood dripped. Nian'an. Looking at Nian'an's resentful eyes, Nian'an didn't care, opened his mouth, and the voice came into his ears. Go to my palace later, don't come, you don't want your identity to be exposed, right? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.